Hello everyone and welcome back. In today's video, I'm sharing with you 60 plus DIY Dollar Tree decor crafts. These are gonna be for spring and summer, indoor, outdoor. You guys, I have so many amazing ideas for you on a budget and with different styles. So don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Join me on this crafting and decorating adventure. And this is a binge-worthy compilation video, so you guys are gonna get totally inspired to craft and decorate for this new season. So without further ado, go ahead and plug in those glue guns. Get out your glitter and paint and let's get to crafting.
I want to share with you all how to make an amazing, beautiful solar-powered chandelier. So we're going to take a Dollar Tree wire wreath form and then a Dollar Tree splatter screen and remove the handle. You may want to wear gloves to do that. You're going to poke holes in 4 places around the splatter screen and then take some zip ties and run those through the second rung of the inside of your wire wreath form. The next thing I'm going to do is take some of these garden gate chandeliers and zip tie it to the wreath form. Now I did turn my wreath form upside down. That made it a lot easier for me to do, and it also concealed my zip ties. And you're going to zip tie the garden gate to the outside rung of the wire wreath form. I hope that makes sense. You guys can kind of see the visual of what I'm doing. Now I attached the second garden gate, and then I'm just going to use a couple more zip ties and zip tie that to the wire wreath form. It didn't fit perfectly, but that little end piece I just kind of overlapped. And I did on this second piece remove those little slats at the very end of the garden gate. So have fun with it, get creative. Again, I do recommend using gloves when you're working with the splatter screen in the beginning. I did find that out the hard way and kind of nicked my hand on the top there. But you guys, this is going to turn out so amazing. It's probably one of my most favorite DIYs I have ever done. And I did get this idea from one of our Olivia's Romantic Home Facebook group members. I saw somebody post something similar. It was a garden chandelier and they used these little gates. Now I don't know that it was the same, but it piqued my interest and just got my wheels turning. So I thought I would try to create something on my own here. And it was actually really sturdy, as you guys can tell. So I flipped it over, and now it's time to add the little solar chandelier part, or the little solar part. So I'm going to take some of the Dollar Tree little solar things, and I'm going to remove the bottom part of it. And then I'm going to take my little box cutter, and I'm going to add just a giant hole. So you want to make the hole large enough to fit down, or for the solar piece to fit down into the chandelier. Now, again, be careful with this part. This needs to be done by an adult only. And those little prongs down there do get kind of sharp. So just be really careful on this part, okay? I just wanted to leave you guys a little forewarning there. Okay, so now that I have that all finished, I did pull the little solar pieces back out, and then I decided to make it a little bit more glam and fabulous. You guys know me, I love to go extra and over the top. So I'm taking this beautiful rose gold kind of bronze spray paint, and I gave it 2 coats of spray paint. The next thing I wanted to do was take one of these Dollar Tree garden chains and add that so I can hang my garden chandelier. And I'm super excited. We have been working on our patio, and I can't wait to reveal it to you guys, but this is going to go out on my patio. In fact, I actually might make 2. Now I'm taking some of these little Dollar Tree greenery leaf garlands, and I used 4, and I just kind of layered them on top of each other. And then just using some Dollar Tree wire, I took the wire and attached it to the wreath form part. Little side note here, I will tell you guys to add your chain last. I kind of learned that the hard way as well. But again, I was just kind of going with the flow and creating this, and trial and error, so you guys get to see the finished product. You don't always see some of the things that I mess up on. Okay, so here is how it turned out. What do you guys think? Oh my goodness. Okay, so I do have this just kind of hanging in my studio right now, but here is how it looked kind of hanging outside on my front part and on a little tree. We are still doing construction on our patio, but I will update you guys and share with you guys what it looks like on the patio. But I am so crushing on this. I hope you guys are inspired to make one. It's so fun. For this Dollar Tree DIY project, I want to share with you all how to create an amazing side table using some of these Dollar Tree buckets. So I'm going to take the first bucket and remove the handles, and then in fact I did end up removing all of the handles, and I'm going to stack that first bucket on top of the other. So you want to flip your first bucket over, add some hot glue, and then add the next bucket on top of that, and that is going to be your first part of your table. The next thing that you want to do is you want to take some really nice nautical rope, and you guys can pick this up at Dollar Tree or on Amazon. I think you get a lot bigger pack on Amazon, but you're just going to take your hot glue gun and run your hot glue gun and begin to add the nautical rope. Now for this table, I want to create a really cute boho chic kind of summer table. So I do like to add in a little bit of coastal decor, and especially when it comes to my patio. Now this ended up being quite a bit of work just because it was a bit tedious gluing the nautical rope on. But first off, I started cutting it on my first loop. You guys can see I was cutting the strands, and I decided that that wasn't the best way. So really just take your nautical rope, hot glue it, and wrap it on. And I will also give you guys a little tip if you're going to do this project, is to kind of push your nautical rope down on top of the piece underneath it. That way you don't have any gaps. Now Dollar Tree also does carry these buckets in white, but I had picked up several in pink, and so I am just covering this. Now you guys know me, I love the pink, and I do have some pink buckets left, but for this project, I did just want to go ahead and use what I had on hand and create this really amazing little table. Now, I will also tell you guys you need to have quite a bit of hot glue on hand, and I did end up using about 15 to 18 of these nautical rope strands from Dollar Tree, so you're going to need quite a few. Now, our Dollar Tree had a ton of this, and I mean tons and tons and tons of it. So if you guys don't have tons of it and you want to do this project, you may again want to order it off Amazon. I'll try to find some and link some in my Amazon store, but if you guys hit the jackpot and are able to get a couple of these, you might want to have fun with this project. Now, putting this next part of the table on was a little bit tricky, and I'll tell you why. Because you need to go all the way up to the lip of the second table and then kind of just scoochy it on and use that piece of rope to kind of attach it on. The other thing I want to let you guys know is this table was amazingly sturdy. I was absolutely shocked, and I really feel inspired. Like this would be something you would see on Pottery Barn or Anthropology for so much. When I look at the Pottery Barn website, it is so expensive, and I feel like we DIY'd this on a total budget, $3 for the buckets. Now, you might want to throw in a couple bucks for the hot glue. It did take quite a bit of hot glue, but then I just took one of the little chargers from Dollar Tree. I painted it kind of a beige color, and then voila, we have this fabulous boho chic kind of coastal vibe table on a total budget. I believe it cost me $20 total to do. And I will suggest you guys pick up quite a bit of nautical rope if you are going to do this. I would say maybe even 15 to 20 bundles of it if you have the opportunity to find that. Or again, you could just pop on Amazon. I know a lot of DIYers just order their nautical rope off of Amazon if they're going to be doing a large project like this. But now I have a new summer table for my living room, and I am so stoked and so excited for this. Now for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I want to share with you all how to make a really amazing little plant stand using 8 Dollar Tree bowls and one of the little Dollar Tree salad plates. And there's Benji Bear, my trusty assistant, my creative director. He was feeling this kind of summertime vibe. So the next thing I want to do is take some E6000 glue, and I'm just going to add a dab of E6000 glue to my first bowl. So I flipped the bowl over, and then I'm going to run the E6000 glue around the base part of the bowl. And let me tell you, this was a 2-day project, so you want to be really patient with yourself and your bowls. I'm going to do that to all of the bowls. So this is just the first step. And then you're going to want to let this dry overnight, because E6000 glue does take about 12 to 24 hours to dry. So I'm just adding this on, and I will apologize. There's a little bit of a fuzzy part on this screen. I believe that's on my end on the camera because I had it so low close to my fuzzy carpet. So it will clear up. It's not your TV or watching device. Okay, anyway, back to the video. Now, the last one I had to do, I was going to add the bowl, and then you want to add your plate to this one. So you're just going to take and you're going to run the E6000 glue around the plate. And here's another little tip I have for you. I had some like little flushable wipes on hand, or baby wipes. Those are really, really great for dabbing the E6000 glue off because they're a little bit wet. I think sometimes when I use a dry paper towel, it doesn't come off very well. And I've also tried to use a cleaner to get the excess glue off, but go ahead and wipe the excess glue off with like a little baby wipe about the time you're doing the project. Now, these have dried overnight and they're nice and sturdy. I mean, they are not going anywhere. Try not to add too much glue, but then you do need to add enough to get it on there. And here again, I've got that little baby wipe, and I'm just kind of going around it to get some of the excess off. So this was step 2 on this project. You're going to add the second set of bowls together. So you just add 2 sets of bowls together. So you should have 4 bowls in each set. I hope that makes sense. And then you want to let these dry again for about 12 to 24 hours. And then you can just add those 2 pieces together and give it another 12 to 24 hours to dry before you really put a whole lot of stuff on it. I put a little lightweight plant on it the day that I created this, but I was so excited to see this. Okay. Now, little side note here, I did want to do this in white because it matches the aesthetic of my house a little bit better, but I thought it was kind of cool and farmhouse modern chic or boho chic or just really kind of cute. The other thing is you may want to add something that is in the seam of the bowl if you get a little bit messy with your glue. I did do another kind of little planter like this with Planter Gardens, and I used a little bit of nautical rope. Just a little tip there. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I want to share with you all how to make an amazing, easy, really sturdy 3-tiered tray. Okay, this is the best one I have ever done. So you're going to take these chunky Dollar Tree candlesticks and your E6000 glue, and I'm starting out with this beautiful scalloped white charger, and this is from Dollar Tree, and you're going to pop that on to your charger. So you can get pretty generous with your E6000 glue. And I'm not using hot glue with this because I wanted to give it time to dry. So you guys probably notice I'm in a different outfit. So I tried to do some of these projects the day before. That way they had plenty of time to dry when I did share with you guys the final project or when I was painting them. But this is just going to be one of those Dollar Tree little cake pans, and you do have to kind of peek underneath it to make sure you get it in the center. Now you're going to use E6000 glue on the next candlestick and pop that into the center of your cake pan or pie pan, whatever your store has on hand. It seemed like my store was kind of out of a lot of things, and I believe this might be a pie pan that I'm using next, or maybe I had 2 cake pans. Honestly, I really can't totally remember, but you're going to add a big generous, and I did use quite a bit because that flat candlestick, you really can't see it. And let me tell you guys, after I let this dry, check this out. This thing was not coming attached. It was not going anywhere. Now, I don't leave these out in the hot sun. This is actually going to be for by my coffee station. I'm just going to use some of the Rust-Oleum white spray paint. I gave it 2 generous coats of spray paint and I let it dry in between. And I'm probably even going to seal it with some waterproof Mod Podge if I do end up using it by my coffee station. But check this out. It holds fruit, although these are faux fruit. And I put some little succulents in there and some pretty greenery. This is just an idea for how you guys might want to style a 3-tiered tray in your upcoming spring summer season. After Easter, I will transition into more kind of a summer springy greenery look with some lemons and some fun things like that. I have a really beautiful gold 2-tiered tray, but I wanted a white one. And I had to share with you guys this prayer card. It said, today's prayer is, we love because he first loved us. And these prayer cards, a lot of you all ask me about, they come from Dollar Tree, and I find them in my checkout section of the Dollar Tree, and they're hidden way down below, so you got to kind of hunt for them. per usual with Dollar Tree. So I can't wait to share with you guys how I'm going to decorate with this after Easter. And this is just such an inexpensive, fun way to have a 3-tiered tray on a budget. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I want to share with y'all how to make a super adorable little outdoor pillow using some of those Dollar Tree shopping bags. Okay, so I picked up this super adorable little bee. It's a buzzing bee, super cute little shopping tote, and it is adorable for shopping, but I had another idea for it. I decided I wanted to make an outdoor pillow to go with the bee pillow that I picked up at Walmart. So I'm just going to take and cut off the edges in the bottom and then add some hot glue to the side. And I will tell you, try to use a low temp glue gun. I'm using my high temp glue gun, but on one of the edges that didn't have the seam, it did pucker a little bit. So just be careful with that. Be careful in general when you're using a hot glue gun. But I'm going to take some of this old pillow stuffing from one of my old pillows, and I'm just going to add that in to my little bee pillow. Be patient and let the seams where you're hot gluing dry. I was just trying to get this done after hot gluing that rope table. Oh my goodness, I think I might have been done with hot gluing for the day. But let them dry before you stuff this, because I did have that little corner edge kind of pop open. You want to get it hot glued nice and well, but that's an easy fix. You just add some more hot glue. You do want to leave one end open to be able to stuff your pillow. So glue 3 sides and then stuff your pillow at the end. That's how I do this. And this was a pretty easy one to do. Now, I don't feel like I really got it stuffed quite enough. I did decide to add some little pom-poms to the edge, just to kind of jazz it up and make it fun. And I think this is going to be really cute on my front porch or my little patio area next to my other bee pillows. And it was cute and pink. I love pink. You guys know I love pink. But with the little bumblebees and the cuteness of it, it was an adorable tote. So it definitely should be used for a tote, or could be used for a tote. But I thought it would make an even more adorable pillow. And you could maybe even sew this. I don't have a sewing machine and I'm not a proficient sewer. I'm really pretty good with my hot glue gun. Oh, and make sure you get your pom-poms like in the right spot. Mine were a little wonky, but hey, that's okay. Give yourself grace more than anything. Listen, I love y'all and I'm so excited to have you here. The first Dollar Tree DIY, I want to share with y'all how to make an amazing Dollar Tree solar lamp. So you're going to take 2 of the Dollar Tree candlesticks and use a little bit of E6000 glue all the way around the rim. And then I just used a tiny dab of hot glue. And then I'm going to use one of these little Dollar Tree fancy glasses. I'm imagining they're probably maybe wine glasses, but these are plastic, and you're going to add some E6000 glue to the base of that. The next thing you want to do is grab some of those Dollar Tree garden planters, and I'm using this utility box cutting knife to poke a hole. Be careful, you may want to wear gloves. And then I'm going to pop my little solar stake into the top part of that, and that's going to be my lampshade. And check this out, you guys. We have a fabulous little lamp that's a solar lamp on a budget. I'm going to be using these out on my patio, and I'm just going to paint the top of this. Now, I also wanted to share with you guys, if you cannot find that particular bucket, maybe you can find the flower and garden bucket, and all you have to do is pop the little side handles off of that. I didn't like it quite as well as the other one, but just to give you guys another idea, I know we can find random things sometimes at our Dollar Tree and sometimes we can't. Okay, the next thing that you want to do is make another one. I made 2 of these and I decided to make one black and one white just to give a little bit of contrast. And then I decided to go in also with my spray paint, and this is just Rust-Oleum black satin spray paint, and I gave the entire thing a good dose of spray paint, and I actually used 2 coats. I just wanted it to look really cohesive, as this was really a real lamp. I do love the Rust-Oleum brand spray paint. I get it for $3.96 at Walmart, and it is well worth it in my opinion. It holds up well, it adheres to plastic, and all of that good stuff. And this is not sponsored in any way, just my absolute favorite spray paint. Okay, so here is how they look. These are absolutely one of my favorite DIY projects I have done in a while, and I think they are fabulous for summer. They're easy to move around, and we did this on a total budget. Now, if you guys have a little patio or a covered porch, or you could even pop these into a window and have them by your kitchen window at night if it gets sun. They do need to get sun on that top solar part in order to get the most bang for your buck and the most pretty lighting. And a friend of mine uses these all the time and said that they stay bright on their patio until about 2 a.m. I'm not up that late, so I wasn't for sure, but I thought that would be a little helpful knowledge for you all in case you are hosting a party or maybe some type of bridal event or whatnot. And here's just some different ways that I thought you guys might want to style these. So have fun with it, get creative, and you don't have to use Dollar Tree candlesticks. You guys could always pop into your thrift store or really pick up some little candlesticks pretty much anywhere. So, and also think about this. You could use an old lamp base, like a real lamp base to do this. I shared that with you guys last year or a couple of years ago, how to use just a real lamp base. So go check out some more DIYs on my channel. Now for the next DIY, I want to share with you all an amazing hack that you all can do on these Dollar Tree bamboo tiki torches. You can actually pop the little torch part out. You just cut the little strings that's holding it on, pull that out, and you can turn it into a solar torch. I thought this might be a great idea for those of you that have small kiddos or want to put this closely up against like a patio post, which is what I'm going to do. And you can even tie them on if you need a little bit more security on them, if it's maybe windy where you're at, by using some of this Dollar Tree wired jute twine. So the sky is the limit for these. You guys can paint these, you can leave them natural. So many ideas, and this just might be a great idea if you guys need something a little bit safer than a tiki torch, but really want to have a soft little glow. Again, remember that that solar top part right there needs to catch some light for the light to be the maximum effectiveness. But I just thought this was such a fun little hack. I thought of this myself. I've really never seen this. Comment if you guys have seen this before, but check this out. Now, I'm going to pull mine out, and I decided to really jazz things up. You guys know I love to get super extra and paint mine. So I'm going to paint mine in a rose gold color. I thought that that would make it look kind of like it's a copper stake instead of the bamboo. I do love the bamboo if you're going for that natural look, but just to jazz it up a little bit, I thought that would be a fun idea. So I'm using this Rust-Oleum metallic finish spray paint. And we have this construction zone area at my home in my backyard. So the rocks are going to be covered by the end of next week with a bunch of dirt, but I'm just going to go ahead and give it a nice, good, healthy coat of the copper colored rose gold spray paint to make them look like they're like a copper kind of rose gold metallic stake. Now check this out. Here is how they turned out after about 2 light coats. Definitely let it dry also in between coats, but I just thought that that was such a fun, ingenious little hack. Again, if you just needed something a little bit more safe than the tiki torch or wanted to kind of put them closer up against a post. Here's how they look inside of my house. So if you guys had a little space that you wanted to put by a window and just make it look kind of jazzy and fresh, you always could pop them in. Just remember that those solar parts, the top part has to get some light to make it really pretty and have that beautiful solar effect. You could even, if you were doing this inside, wrap some pretty little fairy lights around it. Really, the sky is the limit. Have fun with it, get creative, and go for it. For this solar DIY idea, this is kind of a really cool hack. You can take pretty much any vase from Dollar Tree that has a smaller little top to it, fill it up with some pretty stones, or leave as is. I found these beautiful aqua marbles at Dollar Tree. Surprise, surprise, I actually thought it was the stones, but it was marbles, which I thought was really, really neat. And take one of those solar stakes and take the little stake part off, and then you can pop it down into any little jar. Big, small. The sky is the limit. Dollar Tree has so many different jar options. You could even grab some of the colored ones. Now here's how it looks with the glow at night. Again, you guys can pop this in to a little space by your kitchen window if it gets a lot of sun, or outdoor on a patio or a deck. Here's another idea for you, is to take some of these Dollar Tree darker colored stones and pop that in. That's going to give it a little bit different look. I wanted to share with you all some different ways on how to style these. I love these rocks. They look really high end. And then to get your solar stake to kind of fit down in there. You can just kind of wiggle it around and kind of move those rocks around. So here is how this one is looking, popped into a little tray with some succulents around it. And I'm going to share with you guys how to make that tray. Here's another idea with how to style this is to take some little Dollar Tree candlesticks and pop them on top of a candlestick. You could even add one of the Dollar Tree mirrors underneath of that to really make it jazzy. Now you might want to paint the candlestick and the mirror the same color, but these are just some different ideas on what you could do. You could also take one of the Dollar Tree trays, add some stones to that, and then add some of the little solar vases to that. You would probably want to match the vases, but again, just sharing with you guys some ideas. This was probably my favorite one where I took some of the Dollar Tree succulents. These were the ones that came just lightly potted. I pulled them out of the pot and then I just removed the extra part at the bottom that I didn't need with some little wire cutters. You could use scissors. And here is how that looks. Now, I feel like this looks like something you would see at Pottery Barn or Kirkland's or the home decor stores, much more expensive than just a couple of bucks. I did paint that tray a rose gold with my metallic spray paint. I get it at Walmart. It's a couple of dollars and it really makes things look very, very high end. So comment and let me know what you guys think about this and if you're going to be attempting this. I feel like this one is great for all ages because it's no hot glue required, and just so fun to play with the different stone ideas. And there's just so many different options for you. This Dollar Tree DIY, I want to share with y'all how to make a super amazing Dollar Tree garden lantern, or it could also be kind of used as a centerpiece. So I'm going to take 2 of the Dollar Tree garden gates, remove the feet from the bottom of them, and then just attach them end to end. And you can tell it isn't quite making a square like I want it, but you guys could leave it right here and then just put something pretty in the center of it, and that would work. I decided to go one step further with it and take 4 Dollar Tree 8x10 picture frames. I removed the glass and also I removed the backing from it. And I'm going to use this to stabilize my little garden gate and make it more of like a lantern shape. So now be careful when you're working with these Dollar Tree picture frames. They can have a tendency to pop apart very easy. So you kind of want to go easy on them. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use some zip ties to zip tie the corners. I zip tied the corners at the base of this project and also at the top. Again, be careful with the frames. I did lose 2 of the bottom parts of one of my frames, but because they were already zip tied in, it didn't give my structure any problems. So that's just a little tip from me to you. And be patient with it. Give yourself grace. Maybe even pick up an extra frame or 2 if you feel like you might have trouble with it. You could also add a popsicle stick or a dowel to the corner of it to stabilize it even more. Once I had all of my little frames added, I wanted to make this look cohesive, so I'm using this metallic finish spray paint, and it's kind of in a copper rose gold color. I get this at Walmart, and I gave it a good coat on the outside, and then I flipped it over and gave it another coat. That way all those little garden gatey things were covered, and now you can see it looks a lot more cohesive and less Frankenstein-y. Now I'm taking one of these little Dollar Tree garden kneeling mats, and this is what I'm going to use to make my centerpiece. I'm taking some of the little moss sheets, also from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to hot glue them on top of this little mat. You might want to use E6000 glue if you live in an area that gets really blazing hot and you feel like the hot glue, might not stay on there. This is just going to go on a table, so I think it'll be fine. I'm also using a Dollar Tree cutting tool. Actually, I'm using a cutting tool, but I'm popping some Dollar Tree solar stakes down inside of it. So this is just a little box cutter. I'm making a hole right into my foam, and I'm also attaching that with hot glue. Again, use E6000 glue if you need a more permanent, really sturdy, strong hold. It is going to be in the sun, so I don't want anything to fall apart on you. Now I'm taking some wire, and I'm going to wire some ivy around this entire thing. My daughter had ordered this ivy off of Amazon and used it for a project and then didn't need it anymore and was so sweet to share it with me. I did add like to the little corners a little tiny bit of Dollar Tree wire, and that held my ivy on really nicely, and it also kind of covered up a little bit of that weird edge that I had going on at the top. It really wasn't noticeable and I thought it looked really pretty, but so here it is with ivy on the inside, and then I also added some in and around the base. And I think this is such a beautiful project, especially if you're doing something for like a garden themed wedding. Another idea is you could put it by your fireplace. If you have a spot that gets sun, these are just two little Dollar Tree signs that I glued together, put popsicle sticks on the back, painted it, and then added some Dollar Tree candlesticks. And then here's how kind of it would look if it was a glow going to it. I found this little birdcage topper thing or cloche at the Goodwill, and I thought it might be pretty to pop in there as well. And here is how this looks. So fun and fabulous on a total budget. And I thought this was a great idea. So many of you guys have been asking me to do a lantern, and I thought this was great for a fun little garden lantern. Now for this next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to share with you how I'm repurposing and reusing the torch part on my Tiki torch. I'm going to remove the little insert inside that's the candle part, and I'm going to spray paint these. Now, I will tell you that my spray painting on this was a fail. I will also tell you, do not spray paint these with the little candle thing inside of them. I did spray paint this tray as well, and again, I'm going to use that pretty rose gold color. But I will tell you what happened with my spray paint. When I went to add the oil on the inside of my little Tiki thing, the oil kind of dripped down and it just made the spray paint slide down. So it was a complete fail on getting those to stay spray painted. I did have to take 2 off of the project, but here is what we were left with once I got done spray painting the little tray, which I think came out the best part on this project. And then I'm going to add some little Dollar Tree stones to this. I feel like this is really high-end looking with these stones and the pretty rose gold. And you guys can always customize this to fit your style. You could spray paint these white or beige or black or leave it gold. Now you can tell right here that that's where the color is still kind of showing through, but it still looked pretty. It wasn't a total flop. You're just going to put your candle back in then and add the Tiki torch oil. And you have a beautiful little torch that you all can use at night. And again, just be really careful. Definitely be supervising if you're going to be having anybody that is helping you do this that's a little bit younger, or be careful if this is around a flame. I'm just showing you guys this for video purposes. We're going to be using this though out on my patio. So it's mostly a win, but that one little part was a flop. So let me know how you guys would have done this differently to get that spray paint to stay on the outside of my little torch part. I could have left it as is too. That would have worked as well, but the aesthetic I was going for was kind of a more high-end look. So I just had to share that with you guys. I hope you're loving this and are totally inspired. This DIY, we're going to make a cookie pan butterfly. So I'm going to take my little butterfly felt goodies and cut it out to where it's the size of the cookie pan, and then I'm going to spray paint it. And you guys can spray paint it any color. I chose this rose gold, and here is how that looks. The next step to this, oh, and say hi to Tinky, my cat. The next step is to just cut it out from the little cookie pan and use a pair of scissors that are kind of like older scissors, because the cookie pan may dull your really nice crafting scissors. So just a little side note on that. But I had this all cut out, and then I decided to go a super extra step and take these hangers and create a large butterfly for my smaller cookie pan butterfly to fit down into. And I actually saw this part of the DIY on Barb, the Shabby Trees channel. So hey Barb, love you girl. Thank you for all your fabulous DIYs. Go say hi to Barb. And so I'm just going to take and I'm going to zip tie the two edges of the hanger. As you can see over here is where you want to start. And then you can loosely put some zip ties in the center. But I did find that zip tying my ends made it hold together a little bit better and a little bit straighter. So that's just a little side tip on how I kind of worked this out. And now I'm zip tying the center as well. So these would be super fun to make with kiddos because of course there's no gluing required and you could pick really any color of hanger that you wanted to. You just need 4 hangers and you're going to put them end to end where it looks like it creates like a little heart shape. Now I decided to use my rose gold spray paint. I'm kind of on a rose gold kick here and spray paint this to just give it a little bit more of a high-end look. And here is how it turned out. Now I did take one of the Dollar Tree solar stakes and add that to the center of it. So this is kind of a fun little idea for you, is you can make a little garden butterfly by zip tying a solar stake to the center of it. And then if you want to cover up your zip tie, you can add some nautical rope around it, or I'm going to add my little butterfly to it. Now I will tell you that my little butterfly had a little bit of trouble holding on with the hot glue. I had to re-hot glue it. And if you live in a really hot area, you may want to use something different. You may want to poke a little hole and zip tie your little metal butterfly onto that. The next little part of this was I'm going to use one of the little Dollar Tree handles. This is in the broom section and I just cut it in half. I just bent it in half. Basically they bend in half and then that solar stake will fit directly down into that. And you can use some E6000 glue or hot glue to get that to attach a little bit better. And of course you guys know me, I have to make it really extra. So I'm using some nautical rope to kind of wrap around the base of that. And here is how it looks out on my patio. I'm so excited. I can't wait to share with you guys more of my patio. I've been really working on it today, getting it ready. My son Max's birthday is this weekend, so we're going to celebrate out here. It's not quite finished, but here is how it turned out. I think it's super adorable and just so happy and fun. So for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to share with you all how to take some of these garden planters and give them a little bit more of a fresh look. You can also take really any garden planters you all have on hand and jazz them up with some spray paint. So I started out with just a basic white coat of spray paint, and that is going to make everything cohesive. I only had 1 can of this beige spray paint and I didn't want to run out, so I started out with white. And that's kind of an easy way to go if that's what you have on hand. I'm just trying to use what I have on hand. So I gave them all a really good dusting of white spray paint, let that dry for a couple hours, and then gave it another good dusting of beige spray paint over that. And I've been noticing on the Pottery Barn website that they're using like a lot of kind of light whites and beiges and then also black. So that must be the trend where it's just kind of that more neutral, kind of modern look, but it made all of these look really fresh and also cohesive. So, I had just kind of some random planters, and then this one was cute with kind of the chippy pink, but again, I'm trying to go for more of a cohesive look and just make everything look nice and fresh. The other thing I suggest is after you get done spray painting everything, to seal it off with like an acrylic sealer, or you can use a waterproof Mod Podge. So that's just another thing you guys can do to keep them a little bit more weather resistant. Now I recently popped in to my local Walmart and found some tulips, so I'm going to use some of this Dollar Tree potting soil. I've never used it before. Poke your holes in the bottom. There's going to be a little spot in the bottom of your Dollar Tree planters to poke a hole. Then you can add some rocks to that and then some Dollar Tree potting soil. And these little tulips were only $5 at my Walmart. And so I'm just going to pop them into here. Now, I'm not sure that I'll leave them in here. I don't have a lot of plant options except for tulips and pansies out at my stores right now. So I thought these would just be pretty to put out on my back patio. I may end up replanting them so they can take root and just kind of come back year after year. I need to look into tulips. This is my first go round with tulips. So comment down below if you guys have any advice for me on tulips. For the first Dollar Tree DIY, I'm sharing with y'all how to make a super adorable little side table using 2 of the Dollar Tree wire baskets. And so I just zip tied the wire baskets end to end, and I only needed 2 zip ties for this project. And then I have a little burner cover, and I'm going to use that for the top part of my basket. So once those 2 were together, I also decided to jazz it up just a little bit with some of the Dollar Tree nautical rope. Now you guys could use a ribbon, you could use any color of rope that you love, or you could just forego this part, but I thought it would be fun to add that and just kind of make it look like a little bit summery. And this could also go for a coastal theme. So any of the DIYs that you all see me do, always remember you can change it up to suit your home decor. The next thing I wanted to do was add my top to my table. So I used E6000 glue and some hot glue, and then I'm going to pop the burner cover on. And that was really cute, but I decided to customize it to match my summer decor. And so using a bunch of Waverly White chalk paint, or any chalk paint, is really great because it has great coverage. I just added that to the top of the burner cover, let it dry, and I think I only needed 1 coat. Then now I'm taking this napkin from Hobby Lobby. It's one of those lemon napkins. You guys can also find lemon napkins at Dollar General for $1. And I just cut out the shape of the burner cover, and then I did detach the second part of the napkin. So there's like a little white liner on the back of the napkin. I took that apart and then added Mod Podge, and I'm using waterproof Mod Podge, which you guys can get at Walmart or your local craft store. I wanted it to be waterproof so I could set my drink on it, but I am just adding the napkin back on and kind of straightening it out here, and then adding 1 more layer of Mod Podge to the top of that. And again, waterproof Mod Podge is great if you're making a tabletop because it will seal it and it makes it waterproof. So if you have a cold drink, it won't, mess up your pretty design. And again, think about this. You guys could pop into Hobby Lobby and buy pretty much any kind of design paper that you wanted and customize that paper to match your little summer decor. Or really any decor. This wouldn't necessarily even have to be for summer. Okay, so now I'm just adding some nautical rope again to the side of this to match the other nautical rope, and also just to kind of jazz it up and give it a little bit of style here. And also think about this, if you guys wanted to do a glam table, you could always use bling wrap in place of the rope, and then do like a really pretty little glam top. Ooh, you could even do glitter as the top. So here is how it looks popped in to my little summertime spring setup here. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited to decorate for this new season. I still do have to pack up my Easter decor, but check this out, you guys. I thought it was a really cute little table idea for only a couple of bucks. For this next DIY, I want to share with you all how to make an amazing Dollar Tree hula hoop wreath. That's right. I grabbed a hula hoop from the Dollar Tree, and then I'm using this burlap, and I just added a little layer of hot glue for my first part of the burlap, and then I'm just going to wrap the hula hoop in the burlap. Now think about this. You guys could always just cut strips of fabric, which I have totally done before, if you want to do like a different look. So if you had an old white sheet, you could cut that and cover that with it if you don't have the burlap. You could also spray paint it as well. Now Dollar Tree is carrying these super nice longer picks. I found them at my store yesterday. I grabbed them. I knew I wanted to use them for a wreath. And so I'm just taking them and putting these long stems end to end. You guys could really grab any floral greenery stems, and you guys could use anything on this wreath that you prefer. I wanted to do a greenery look. I've done a lot of floral wreaths this year, and I plan to do more, but I thought for this one it would be fun to do just greenery. So I used several bundles, and then to really make sure they're secure on here, I'm using zip ties to attach them. I'm going to put this out on my back patio area, and I want them to stay on. Now here's a little hack that you guys can use use with any floral stem bundle. You can take it and bend it in half, and you don't even have to cut it, and that way it's sturdy on there together, and you guys can always reuse it for another project. And again, I'm zip tying these in multiple places underneath the leaves, further up so you don't see the zip ties, but right here I'm going to add a really pretty bow. And this last set of greenery and the little white flowers were from Walmart, and they were about $3 a bundle. The next thing I'm going to do is grab some leftover Christmas ribbon. This is buffalo check plaid ribbon, but you guys use any ribbon that you love. Choose any color or pattern that you love that you're decorating your home with. Dollar Tree even has some cute ribbon as well. I wanted to go for buffalo check because I'm at the end of the roll and I need this roll gone, but I also thought it'd be super cute to go in with lemon decor. I'm using my Easy Bow Maker and I'm making about a 6 to 7 inch bow. You just push your ribbon in there, side to side, side to side. It's so seriously easy, you guys. And I'm just going to trim that off, and then I'll show you a quick little hack too about how to make some easy tails. So to make some tails, you can grab an extra strand of that ribbon, however long you want it for your tails, and tie your bow on with that extra strand of ribbon. That's just something I came up with on the fly. I thought it would be great, and it actually works pretty good. So then you can give your bow a nice good fluffing, and this is going to be the secret to any great bow is playing with it. You really want to pull those loops out. I'll even take my hand and just like push it in there. Don't forget to dovetail your ends by cutting an upward triangle in the ends of your ribbon, and voila, you have a fabulous hula hoop wreath on a budget with a little bit of greenery and a pretty bow, and nobody would ever know, at least I don't think anybody would ever know, that that is a hula hoop. These types of wreaths are so in style right now, and I can see why. They're really cute, they're easy to hang, they're easy to do, they don't take a lot of product. So if you need something quick and easy for the summer, this is definitely a go-to. So for this next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to use 8 of these little wooden squares, and I want to create a little Dollar Tree kind of planter box. So I'm just using hot glue to glue my little cubes together, and I did remove the little drawer part of the cube, and I am going to save that for another project. And so you could just kind of hot glue these together, and you can always use wood glue, but just for speed purposes, I went ahead and used hot glue, and it seemed to work fine. I don't know, comment, let me know if this is okay to do, but it was working for me, so I went for it. The next thing I wanted to do was glue all my little cubes together. So I'm just gluing them end to end, end to end, end to end, and that's going to create one big planter box. And I'm going to use this in my kitchen. I know exactly where I want to put it, above my Hoosier cabinet. It's going to be so cute. Okay, so once everything is all glued together, you guys can customize this. So grab some chalk paint. I'm using white chalk paint. You can use acrylic paint. You can use stain, whatever decor style you're going for. Paint it and make it look like you guys want it to look. And you guys can use this for anything. You could use it for florals, you could use it for dividing, you could use it for craft storage. So many little options. I am going to make a pretty easy little floral in it with some greenery and a couple of lemons popped in. It's going to be so easy and fun. Now, here's a fun little hack you might want to try. Grab an inexpensive paper plate. I found these paper plates at Hobby Lobby. They were like $5 and then 40% off that. So they were super inexpensive, super cute, and we're going to use them for DIYs. So I'm just cutting out the square that's going to fit the front of my little planter box here, or cute little box. I don't know really what would you guys would call it, but I just cut out squares that size, and I'm going to decorate it with the little lemon plate, which I thought was a pretty fabulous little idea. I feel like I was a little disappointed that Hobby Lobby didn't have more lemon decor to choose from, but I was also excited in the same sense because I knew I could DIY some for my kitchen. They did have cute stuff, and I felt like the best deal was definitely the lemon plates and lemon napkins because I'm going to get a lot of bang for my buck on those. Now I'm taking a stem of greenery from Walmart and then this stem of like little white flowers from Walmart. I think they're $3 and you get a lot on them and they look really nice. And so I detached all of the little stems off of there, or the little end to ends, and I'm just popping them directly into this little box. I didn't want to hot glue anything. I didn't have floral foam with this, so I just cut them short enough to where you could just kind of pop them right in, and hey, it worked perfectly. Once this goes up on a shelf, I don't think anybody's going to mess with it, so I think it'll be fine. But if you guys were to put this somewhere that you needed some floral foam, definitely put floral foam down in there if you need your arrangement to stay a little bit better. But here's how it looks popped into my easy peasy lemon squeezy little summer spring decor idea. I was so excited for this. I feel like it's something that you would see, you know, at Hobby Lobby or TJ Maxx for definitely more than a couple of dollars here. For this next Dollar Tree DIY, I have to share with you all how to create a super amazing Dollar Tree wall sign or wall hanger or wood sign. So we're going to create kind of like a faux wood look here by taking the love signs. I'm just taking 2 of these larger signs, and these were from Valentine's Day, and I'm just going to chalk paint them. And I chose white because this is what matches my decor, but really you guys could choose any color that you love. So go ahead and paint it up. And I did also sand the little spots where the little hearts were at. Hey, I love these signs. I always pick up a couple extra to craft with and then one to decorate with. But anyway, I'm going to flip it over and then add some popsicle sticks to the back of it, and that is going to keep this sign held together. And I will tell you that I have reused this sign for multiple seasons and multiple projects, and it works. It stays together. The next thing I want to do is customize it with this Dollar Tree Home Sweet Home, and this is one of their garden flags. They are out right now in your store. You could look in the garden section, and they're kind of tucked away. You know, they might be hanging in and around different areas. I find them in different areas in different stores, but this Home Sweet Home flag works perfectly for a sign, you guys. I was so stoked to find out this, and the next thing I was really excited was that Mod Podge works really great with these flags. So if you find a really cute little garden flag at Dollar Tree, they're kind of thin and flimsy, but hey, they work perfectly for signs. Another idea would be to use a pizza pan. That's really what I wanted to use, but Dollar Tree has been sold out of pizza pans for I don't know how long in my area. So anyway, you're going to add a nice layer of Mod Podge to your sign, and then you want to lay your flag down, and then you can just Mod Podge over that, and that's going to seal it in. And I did cut my little flag out. It did have a blue background, which was cute, but I wanted to tone it down just a little bit and make it kind of like a little bit French country, French farmhouse chic. And so there you have that. And if you wanted to go a step further, you could add a bow or some greenery or whatnot. I decided to not add a bow yet, and I'll tell you why, because I still need to pull down all my Easter decor and then start working with some of my new spring summer decor and what looks good in my kitchen and what accent like patterns I want to use. I'm probably gonna go with stripes or buffalo check if I do decide to add a bow. So just a little side note there. But I was super pumped for this project. It came out looking really nice, and you don't have to use your Cricut, although I do love using my little Cricut, but it's just so fast and easy. And also I wanted you guys to know that Dollar Tree has a rooster flag that they just put out. I found it yesterday, so check for the little garden flags, and there's a gnome one, a lemon one, a rooster one. There's some really, really cute ones, and you guys could really make some adorable signs. And the garden flag doesn't bleed either. That's another thing, you know, you always have to watch out for when you're using Mod Podge or some type of adhesive glue. You may also be able to use a spray adhesive for this project as well. I haven't tried that, but that's just a little side note, and I thought it turned out really super stinking cute. For this next Dollar Tree DIY, I want to share with y'all how to create a super easy little small mini Tipsy pot. So you guys loved my first Tipsy pot that I did a really large one, but now I'm going to take 3 of these little Dollar Tree garden planters, and they come in a 3-pack, so there's only $1 there. And then I'm going to use a wooden dowel, and I did drill a hole in 2 of my planters, and that's all I needed. I actually drilled it in 3, but I only needed it in 2. Anyway, and then you're just going to take and put something heavy in the bottom. I chose some of these stones, and then you can just run your little planters on top of them. And then I did add a little bit of foam to the tops of these because I don't want my florals popping out. But you guys could really get creative. You could make a succulent Tipsy planter. I'm making this kind of like little herb lavender Tipsy planter. I think this will be cute in my kitchen window, or maybe even on a little side table. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited to decorate for this new season. But anyway, this actually is lavender from Walmart. You guys can find this also at Dollar Tree, but I'm kind of low on my Dollar Tree lavender, so I thought I would use this, and it holds up really nicely. It doesn't shed as bad as the Dollar Tree lavender it does. And so then the next thing I wanted to add was some of my little greenery. So this is just reindeer moss from Dollar Tree. It's actually just moss, I believe. The reindeer moss has a little bit of a different texture to it. But anyway, pop in some moss, have fun with it, add some more greenery, get creative, and go for it, you guys. For this next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take some lemon napkins. Now, I grabbed 2 sets. Actually, I have the $1 napkins from Dollar General, and then the other napkins are from Hobby Lobby. Now, the Hobby Lobby napkins, I feel like are a little bit more high-end looking, but grab whatever you guys have and whatever you can find. Dollar Tree does put out a lemon napkin, but it doesn't have this pretty lemon on it. So anyway, I'm using some Mod Podge and a Dollar Tree charger, and I'm going to create a really giant oversized charger to use for decor purposes. This is one of my favorite tricks to do, is taking a napkin and a large charger and making it look really beautiful. A large charger in this lemon pattern would definitely be really expensive at a TJ Maxx or Hobby Lobby, and we're going to do it on the cheap. So again, I laid down a layer of Mod Podge, and I do like to use the waterproof Mod Podge when at all possible. The waterproof Mod Podge is good when you're going to need to wipe something down. So if I was going to use this as a charger, I could easily wipe it off, you know, if something had dropped on it. Now, remember that no Mod Podge is food safe. So if you are going to be creating a plate, don't use Mod Podge or paint on your plate that you're going to eat off of. That's just a little side note. I do get that question here and there. These are just for decor purposes, I promise you. So anyway, I'm adding a generous layer of Mod Podge to the outside of my plate now, and that way it's going to really seal this little napkin in. Now, I will also tell you, I kind of made a mistake with this. I wish that I would have painted my charger white first and then added the napkin in and taken that white layer off. I was kind of trying to do it a little bit too fast, and I was a little impatient with it. So I thought that the silver wouldn't show through, but the silver did show through just a little bit. And so that's just a little side note. If you guys want that really crisp, clean look like the look that I got on my little table that I did, you may want to paint your charger white first, Chalk paint is the best paint for that. It sticks to those chargers really well. And then add your napkin on and then peel off that white layer of napkin. So that's just a little side note, but I think it did turn out fabulous anyway. I'm definitely going to be using this possibly in my dining room or kitchen because I am going to be going with some lemon decor in those spaces. I love the bright, happy sunshine vibes, but I think, beach vibes and strawberries and peaches and just anything kind of fruity is fun for summer. Or you guys can just go black and white. I know there's so many different fun options, but I hope this gives you guys some idea on how to add a little bit of bright sunshine. Oh, sunflowers are also a fun one for summer. Anyway, I hope you guys are loving this and having a blast and getting inspired to create something of your own. Whatever napkins you have in your stash, go for it, get creative, and have fun. Now for this next DIY, I'm going to be doing it really simple. I'm taking one of the Dollar Tree chargers and I'm just going to chalk paint it white. And I did use 2 layers of chalk paint on this charger. I will tell you why I love chalk paint. It adheres to pretty much any surface and it just sticks on there really, really well. It doesn't slide off. And I like to use the Waverly White chalk paint from Walmart. So anyway, that's just my little tip from me to you. So the next thing I wanted to do, I got a little bit of black acrylic paint and I put it on one of these Dollar Tree sponge brushes. And these work really well for this kind of little detail fun work if you don't want to get a regular brush wet. But I'm just rimming the edge of it and I want to make it look kind of distressed and farmhouse chic. I noticed that Hobby Lobby does have they have a large section of this kind of enamelware look. It's really easy to create. You just use a little bit of black paint and go along the edges where you think something might look worn. So here's how it turned out. I think it looks really, really cute. I think we're nailing it, in my opinion, for that kind of aged vintage look. Okay, so another idea is to take one of the Dollar Tree flower and garden planters and chalk paint that white. Again, I used 2 coats of chalk paint and I just want to share with you guys different ways that you can create this enamelware look. Okay, so this, again, I'm just rimming the black of the little flower and garden planter. I'm adding just a tiny bit of black to the outside of it and then I'm rimming the bottom part, and that's going to make it look kind of like that vintage old-fashioned enamelware look, but you're not going to pay the high prices like you're going to see in the decor stores. And you guys can give this look to pretty much anything that chalk paint will adhere to. So anything that you guys want to have that farmhouse chic look, that French country. Now French country, I think you might want to do more of a cream as your chalk paint base. I noticed theirs are a little bit softer, but the farmhouse look definitely is still hot to try, and you guys can easily achieve that with a little bit of chalk paint and some creativity. So I hope this gave you guys some ideas on something a little bit different that you guys can do to create that look without breaking the bank. Here's another Dollar Tree DIY you all might want to try. I'm taking one of those Dollar Tree longer trays, and again I'm using chalk paint and I'm just going to chalk paint the tray white. I did the entire thing and I did give it 2 coats, and I do like to wait about an hour between coats, sometimes 30 minutes, but really an hour gives it a nice time to kind of set up, and then you can apply another coat and it doesn't peel off. That's what I do love about chalk paint, and I use the white Waverly chalk paint. You guys can grab that at Walmart, and it a little bit does go a long way. So anyway, I gave it a nice generous layer, 2 coats, and then I felt pretty sufficient with that. Now I want to give it kind of that aged rustic look, less actually rustic and more kind of farmhouse look like you see like an enamel tray. So again, I'm taking my little sponge brush and I'm just rimming the sides. And then if you get a little bit too much, you could always use a tad of sandpaper or even like a wet cloth to wipe some of it off. And then you want to rim on the inside of that. So these are just some fun ideas for you guys to get creative, hopefully on a budget. Maybe even things you might already have in your stash or that you have laying around that you could revamp. This is a really, really cute look. I did notice like at Hobby Lobby and a lot of the decor stores are really showing a lot of kind of, this just white with a little bit of aged look. Okay, and then now I'm going to share with you guys how to create like a little vignette with these. You can take some of these Dollar Tree candle holder things, and these are new, at least new to my store. I just found them yesterday, so check out the store. They come in white or gold. I popped some votives in, and I just put some of the little white rocks. You guys could use any rocks, but Dollar Tree does carry these cute little white rocks. They finally had them in at my store. So as always, I ask you guys comment and let me know what was your favorite DIY in this video. I will be announcing the candle giveaway as well. I love to ask you guys a secret question. Last time I asked you, how do you guys decorate for summer? But this time I want to ask you guys, what is your favorite summertime treat? I would love to know. I'll announce that candle giveaway later on in the day on my social media accounts. So definitely look for it. It's going to be a 3-piece flickering flameless candle set, and I love those. They're so amazing. But comment down below what your favorite summer treat is. I would love to hear from you guys. It was 86 degrees today, so it was definitely feeling a little bit more like summer. I love y'all, and I'll talk to you very soon. With you all how to make this super awesome Dollar Tree Tipsy pot. So you're going to grab 4 Dollar Tree garden planters, and I chose the larger one because I want to make a really large Tipsy pot, and I used an attachment on my screwdriver to drill the holes with. You could also use a hot glue gun, the end of that, and just heat it up. So the next thing you want to do is take a broom handle or any kind of long PVC pipe that you can add to the center of it. And this is just a Dollar Tree little broom handle, and I'm adding a bag of the Dollar Tree potting soil to the base of this. The next thing I had an idea to do was to add numbers to the outside of this. Now you guys can use your house numbers, and this is not my actual house number, but I thought it would be a fun idea to share with you guys this part of it if you wanted to do this. Now I'm using the Dollar Tree poster board stickers, and I'm just going to stick those on and then spray paint over those. I'm using the Rust-Oleum 2X spray paint, and that is really a great spray paint. I've also heard that you can spray a layer of spray Mod Podge on first, then add your spray paint. So I have yet to try that, but I may try that because I did notice that it scratched off fairly easily, but you can also seal it with some Mod Podge or acrylic sealer. Now I wasn't in love with how these letters looked, so I just ended up adding the poster board letters back on and then added a layer of waterproof Mod Podge on top of that. Now for my Tipsy pot part. So I changed to the white Dollar Tree broom handle, and I just shoved that down inside of my pot, and then you take your first pot, you tip it all the way to the side, then you take your second pot and you tip that to the other side. And I did add some rocks on top of my dirt because I don't want my Tipsy pot blowing away. So here's how it looks so far. Now I didn't have foam to put inside of here, and I wanted to add some fake flowers because I haven't really bought a whole lot of real flowers yet. We still have a little bit of frost that could happen, so I'm just holding off on doing any real plants yet. But I did add some of these Dollar Tree fake plants. They have some really nice fake greenery out this year, and it's plastic, so it'll definitely be weatherproof. And so I just added some little pool noodle down in there, and then I'm just placing my little greenery in there, just kind of scattering it about, making it look kind of wild and whimsical. And then I'm using some of the Dollar Tree Excelsior grass and moss mixed together and just adding that to the top. And you can see I bent my broom handle over. It was a little bit too long. I thought I was going to, cascade some ivy down on it, but I wasn't crazy about that. They're really flimsy, so they're pretty easy to bend in half. So here is how it's looking. Let me know what you guys think. This is the first time I have ever made a Tipsy pot, and I felt like it came out pretty good. I did have a little wobble with the back of one of them. I set it on the side of my little patio here and it flopped off, and so it got a crack in it. So just be careful. These are not the most sturdy pots. You can definitely go to Walmart, and get like a clay pot if you wanted to. But I thought for doing this on the cheap, it came out pretty fabulous. I really encourage you guys to try one of these. It was so much easier than I thought it was going to be. I really thought it was going to be way harder. Anyway, I hope you guys are loving this one. Now, for this Dollar Tree DIY, I have to share with you guys an amazing little table topper storage basket idea. So you're going to take 2 of the Dollar Tree paper towel holders and then 2 of the little wire baskets that you can find in their organizing section, and then you're going to need 8 zip ties total. So I'm going to take and I'm going to line the basket up and just zip tie one end and then the other end. And that way I know that my basket is on straight. And then the next thing I want to do is trim off the ends of the zip tie and then begin to zip tie the other part of the paper towel holder. Now, you guys, this is such a fun and fabulous idea if you need an easy little storage container that's like a 2-tiered storage container. This would be great for fruit, table toppers, crafts. What I'm going to use it for is to hold some silverware on my outdoor table. We had a little get together over the weekend and I really needed some ways to add storage to the top of my table without taking up a lot of room. Now for this top part, again, you want to make sure your basket is lined up. I did have to go back in and redo the zip ties on the top because it wasn't quite lined up all the way. So try not to get frustrated. Make sure you get them lined up, and then once you have them on, it is really actually a really sturdy little creation. The other thing is I wouldn't put a ton of weight in the top basket. Just a little FYI, it's sturdy, but it tended to kind of rock back and forth just a tiny bit. If you had something like really heavy in it, I'll put your heavier stuff on the bottom. Anyway, now I'm going to take some Rust-Oleum 2X spray paint in the black, and I'm just going to give the entire thing a coat of spray paint. That way my little paper towel holders are a little bit more cohesive and less paper towel holder looking, and it matches that cute little basket. Okay, so here is how it looked with some of my faux muffins popped in here. Now you would want to put a basket liner down if you were going to put actual real food. And then I also just popped in like some little pretty napkins and some silverware. And you guys, this is such a fun and easy way to create storage in a small space. You could also put this on a vanity table. This would be amazing for a craft room. You could even put like some little storage organizers on the side. Really, the sky is the limit. You guys get totally creative with this. Have fun and go for it. This Dollar Tree DIY, I have to share with you all how to take some of those Dollar Tree mirrors and make a beautiful, elegant centerpiece. So you're going to flip them over, and then with 2 zip ties, you're going to zip tie the little part that has like the little spiral edge there. And you just want to gently zip tie each one of them, and don't tighten them until you get them both on there. You don't want to zip tie them too tight because you don't want your little mirror centerpiece to pucker. The next thing I wanted to do was add one more to the edge, and that's going to give it longer length. And then you can zip tie the other 2, one to the top and one to the bottom. That's how I wanted to do it. Or you could make a big long table runner by zip tying them all in one diagonal direction. So really the sky is the limit on this one. You could even put foam board back behind it to stabilize it and turn it into a wall decor piece. I have been racking my brain on how to put this together. I knew I wanted to do a centerpiece with these mirrors, but I was trying to think about ways to glue these together. And then once I thought of my black zip ties, I knew those exactly would be the perfect thing to work. And they were so sturdy. They held on there really, really well. And so I was just really excited. You know, when you're trying to think of a craft and you have crafting supplies and you know what you want to make, but you just can't figure out the mechanics of it. That was me with these mirrors. And then once I figured this out and that was going to work and be sturdy, I was over the moon excited. So check this out. Here is how it looks, and it's beautiful as is. I decided to go ahead and just give it one whole coat though of black spray paint so it can go in my back porch aesthetic. You could also use gold, copper, pink, purple, blue, anything you love. You could cover up the mirrors while you're spray painting them so that they would stay mirrors. I didn't want these to stay mirrors. Again, I just wanted it to be all black for this one. But there's so many options that you guys have with this. And again, I am using that Rust-Oleum 2X spray paint. Definitely not sponsored, but I love the Rust-Oleum spray paint. It just holds up really, really well. You could also add a layer of acrylic sealer as well if this project is going to get quite a bit of use. But check how elegant it looks, painted black. I was so excited for this. Okay, so here's my table centerpiece idea. You just pop it into the centerpiece of any table, and then you can layer textural elements on top or to the side. It's beautiful for candles. I think this would be beautiful on a bridal table. And I'm going to share with you guys how to make that little textural basket element. So for this, I just popped my little DIY lantern. I'm also going to share with you guys how to make the lantern, some pretty faux florals, a beautiful candlestick, and then some of these flickering flameless candles, which I absolutely love. They're so safe. They're battery operated, and they come with a remote timer. You guys have to check them out. I'll leave some in my Amazon store for you. I'll link it in the description box below. But how elegant is this and fabulous on a teeny tiny budget? So I saw these wall baskets on the Pottery Barn website and they were $449, and I decided we could dupe something similar to this using Dollar Tree supplies. So for this Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take this Dollar Tree charger and then this rope, and I picked this rope up at Harbor Freight actually for $4.99, and it came on this huge gigantic roll. I got a couple of rolls so we can do some neat summery coastal DIYs with it. But to create this basket wall art, you're just going to take your ropes. You can use nautical rope from Dollar Tree. You can order some off Amazon, or you can get some from your hardware store. You're going to start in the center, and you're just going to twist it and then hot glue. And then you're going to twist and hot glue. And you're going to continue to twist and hot glue your way around this entire charger. You can use a bowl with a little lip. Really so many ideas. You can use an old thrift store plate, something that is headed for the thrift store. You can renew an old plate with this. And I also have to give a shout out to my sweet friend Liz at Liz Fenwick DIY. She creates these all the time and makes the most amazing Pottery Barn dupes of these. So you guys are going to have to go check Liz's channel out. I absolutely adore her. But this was the first time I had ever tried this, and I will tell you that kind of one of the secrets to this for me was to be patient. So I had a little bit of a hard time being patient with this because you really need to press the rope down and hold on to it as you glue. And you are going to need to make sure you have quite a bit of glue. I use several glue sticks and also quite a bit of rope. So those are just my tips from me to you, but this is a relatively simple project. I wouldn't say it was like a super hard one. It just takes some patience. Once you get to the end, you can take your scissors and trim your rope off and then tuck that little edge back behind it and give it a big old dollop of hot glue. I think this was probably the hardest part for me, was to cut that really thick rope. Here is how it turned out. Listen, I think for about $3, $4, $5 that it took to create this versus the $449, and I believe that was for 3 baskets. We did amazing. Okay, so I'm taking a paper clip and some E6000 glue. I want to give it a hanger in case I do decide to hang it up, and then some hot glue, and then I'm just going to take a piece of kind of sturdy cardboard from one of my Crafters Square creation buys, and I just pop that back behind it. So you can use it as a wall hanging. I wanted to share with you guys how you can do that. Now for this setting, I wanted to share with you guys how I'm using it as a textural element in my tablescape, popped on top of those little Dollar Tree mirrors that we did, and then I put a lantern on top of it. I felt like it looked really high end and fabulous. I know Pottery Barn is always sharing this kind of real natural look. So here's that little wall centerpiece that we did, and then here's that textural element, which I just think it's so nice to layer shiny things and baskety things and all of that kind of fun stuff. I'm really excited for this next DIY. I'm going to take 4 Dollar Tree picture frames, and I'm going to take the glass out and also remove those little tabs. Secret to removing those tabs is to pull them outwards and down, or inward and down. So they need to kind of go inward and down. I took some E6000 glue and I added some dabs of E6000 glue to the corner of my frames and then put the glass back in. You could also add a little bit of hot glue too. I did that for speed purposes, just so I could get this DIY done to share with you guys. But I recommend adding the E6000 glue and then letting it dry overnight. If you have time to do that, it's a little bit sturdier way to do it. So once you have all of your tabs removed and all of your glass glued in, then you can begin to make your little lantern. So I added some E6000 glue and some hot glue down the side of this. Again, the E6000 glue is your permanent hold, your hot glue is your temporary hold. Now this spot right here, I think you guys should wait and don't work on the project for about an hour or so. But if you need to get it done like I did, you can go ahead and add another layer of E6000 glue and hot glue. I just feel like it needs to sit up as you add each part of the frame. If you can see right back there, my frame kind of popped apart, so I did have to re-glue it in a couple of places, and so that makes it kind of messy. Now to give my seams a little bit nicer of an edge, I decided to use some of this Dollar Tree nautical rope, kind of to give it like a little bit of a beachy kind of farmhouse theme. It's going to go outside, and so I just wanted it to just kind of be really chill. Like if you were doing kind of a rustic wedding or just a little rustic setting. I have this new patio that I've been trying to decorate, and I really wanted a little lantern. I didn't want to spend a bunch of money on one, so I just thought this would be super fun. And the nautical rope really did help the corners hold up so much better, and it also covered my gluey spots for my work that I was a little bit sloppy with. So I added kind of 3 layers of the Dollar Tree nautical rope, and the Dollar Tree nautical rope now is thinner, so it worked fine for this, but just a little FYI, it does take a little bit more than it used to just because it's a little bit thinner, but it's fine. I actually kind of enjoy working with it a little bit thinner. So the next thing I want to do is create my tablescape. So I'm adding in that mirrored centerpiece we did, that beautiful Pottery Barn basket dupe that we did, and then just some flickering flameless candles. Here's the first idea on how you can style your lantern. I grabbed these greenery pieces from Walmart because they're taller and they just look a little bit more high end, but they're only $3 a bundle, you guys. So you could style it with candles down inside, or you can take a beautiful candlestick, and I got this at Hobby Lobby 80% off during Christmas, and pop a beautiful candlestick in and then add in your greenery. And if you don't want to see those stems, I just cut some little small pieces of lamb's ear and kind of like put that down inside of that just to give it a little bit more coverage, or you could wrap the stems of your greenery. So here is how it looks all set up in here. I was so excited for this round of DIY garden planters. So you're going to need 4 garden planters, and you're going to flip one upside down and then glue the other one to the one that you flipped upside down. And I'm using a mixture of E6000 glue for permanent hold and hot glue for temporary hold. Now I have 3 of the sections together, and I decided to add in some stones to this next section, again using E6000 glue and hot glue, just gluing these together. So this is so easy, you guys. And actually, I meant to say you're going to need 5 of these square garden planters, and you can really do this with any size. I've shared with you a round one before, and now I had to share with you this idea for a square one. And here is how it is turning out. You pop a little tray onto it. Dollar Tree is carrying these little clear plastic trays, and they fit perfectly on top of these garden planters. I have never done this one before, and I've never seen it done before, so I hope you guys have fun with it. It worked perfectly, giving it some weight, and then I just added some white spray paint, and now I'm going to make it look a little bit farmhouse chic, kind of like a faux enamel, by taking this black paint and one of these little Dollar Tree sponge brushes, and you just gently run the sponge brush in and along the sides of the spots of the planter that are kind of popped out. And so you guys can really get creative with it. You could go totally glam with this tray. In fact, I almost spray painted it gold, but I'm doing a little bit more of a relaxed look in my home for summer as far as the patio area is concerned. I also might put this in the corner of my dining room. And I also recommend that you seal it with an acrylic spray sealer. I just got the spray paint done, and then tomorrow I'm going to seal it. That way the spray paint has time to kind of dry. But here is how it turned out, you guys. This is a fun and fabulous little planter table, and we did it on a total budget, so very small cost, a little bit of bang for your buck, and I think it turned out absolutely fun and amazing. And I hope you guys go for it and try one of these little garden planter side tables. I'm using the rope one that I made using storage containers out on my patio, and it actually works really, really well. For the rope one, I did add Scotch Guard, and for this one I am going to use an acrylic sealer. But comment and let me know what you guys think about it. I'm crushing on it, especially for a little bit of summertime fun on a budget. For this next Dollar Tree DIY, I have to share with you all how to make a super amazing Dollar Tree topiary. So grab one of their flower garden tins and then pop some foam down inside of that. And then using a skewer or a shish kebab stick or a little dowel, pop that into the center, and that's where your shish kebab's going to go. The next thing I'm going to do is just trim off some of the ends of this little faux greenery that they're selling at Dollar Tree. It is helpful too to push the greenery towards the top, but not so far that it pops off of its stem. And then you can just use a little foam ball. Dollar Tree has these little foam balls, and you can pop that greenery in. I did end up using 6 bundles for this entire project, and I will suggest if you guys want to use less bundles, you can paint your foam ball. Don't use spray paint, just use acrylic paint, paint it green, and you will probably be able to get away with using less. But I wanted to make it nice and full and make it this really beautiful kind of English garden style topiary. And so I just thought that this would be so pretty and fabulous. And honestly, you guys, I have been wanting a topiary forever. I've been kind of shopping around, couldn't really find any, and couldn't really figure out how to make one on a budget until I found this pretty little faux greenery from Dollar Tree. And the minute I saw it, I knew. Now you guys could take a shortcut and pop into Hobby Lobby and grab a little garden ball there. That would work too if you don't want to go through this kind of process, and then just use the planter and the little dowel to pop into your flower and garden planter. Now I am giving my flower and garden planter a bit of weight here by popping some stones in. Super easy, you guys can totally do this. And then I'm finishing it off with a nice little topper of Spanish moss. You could also use some of the little Dollar Tree faux greenery in and around the base of your planter. So I hope this gives you guys an idea for how to create a fabulous little garden planter on a total budget, you guys. And it always feels really good to me to create something homemade and handmade. I feel like there's just love that goes into the project. Not that I'm against buying things store-bought, because I totally love to shop too, but now I decided to pop in and take a little bit of antique wax or paint and just paint my little shish kebab stick. And so here is how it turned out. I am so excited with this. I'm probably going to make one or two more because I'd like to kind of set them up close to a window as if they were real topiaries, but I really love this too because I can't kill this. So no maintenance here, no fuss, no muss, and we did it on a total budget. For the next DIY, I want to share with you all how to create this fabulous little rustic chic photo box. So I'm taking 5 of the Dollar Tree little photo frames here, and you guys could use any style of frame. I happened to grab these. I have the little tin background, and when I saw them, I knew exactly what I wanted to make with them. So using some hot glue, I'm just going to begin to gently attach one side and then glue the other one to the other side. And it does help to let the glue dry. Make sure it lines up and then let it dry before you attach the next one. I only used hot glue on this one and it seemed to hold together really, really well. So hot glue down both sides and then attach your little photo frame. And again, you guys can use any of the photo frames from Dollar Tree to create this. I just thought this would be a fun little spin on a little photo box. Okay, so it comes with the little tiny clips at the top, and so you guys can add really any family photo that you love. This would be the perfect size and absolutely great for kids' school pictures. The next thing I'm doing is I'm going to remove this little clip, and it also just unscrews with a screwdriver, and then I removed the backing, and that's going to create my box shape. And I'm going to share with you guys several different ways that you can use this and ways that you can style it. So now using some hot glue, I'm just going to hot glue this to the top part of the box, or in my case, it's going to end up being the bottom part of the box. And then you'll let that dry, and then you can really go for it however you want. So I'm going to share with you guys how you can start out by just using a little picture here. And this is actually a picture of my parents back in the 70s or 80s. I don't know, it's an old picture. And so I just used a smaller picture and added a candle to the top, put a pretty little saucer and a teacup on a side table, and then you can add all kinds of family photos around it, and it's just a fun, great way to display photos. And you can turn it, seasonally, or turn it, whenever you want to have different photos faced outwards, or you can put it in the center of a table and you can see them from all the way around. This would be a fun spot too to do next to a coffee bar. The next thing you can do is flip it upside down and make it into a little garden planter, which is how I am going to use it. So you're just going to flip it upside down, pop your flowers in, and you can leave the photo clips on and then just clip your photos in an upward direction, which I thought was kind of fun and fabulous. Or you can take some little wire cutters and you can remove the clips, and then you just have a really styling little rustic chic photo box or box. I guess it's not a photo box anymore. It's just a cute little rustic chic box, which is what I am going to use it for. I feel like it's something you would see at Kirkland's or TJ Maxx for much more than a couple of dollars. For this next Dollar Tree DIY, I want to share with you all the simplest high-end Dollar Tree greenery idea. And so you're going to take a small Dollar Tree cylinder vase and then a larger vase. I found this one at Walmart for $4.97, and then some floral moss, and I did put some tape over my vase so I didn't have moss sprinkling down inside of this. It would be okay though, because we're not going to use fresh flowers. Now I'm going to take and I'm going to use this Dollar Tree moss, and I'm going to gently place it in and around that larger cylinder and just kind of tuck it around the smaller cylinder. I created an arrangement in this for Easter with peeps. I've created a glam style with tulips, and now we're just going to go for something that looks like an English garden arrangement. I'm now adding some Spanish moss, and don't take me too seriously here. I'm just having fun, but I'm just pressing it down and kind of gathering it in and around. I didn't want the moss to overtake the greenery, so I did press it down just a little bit so I had room for one more bag of the Dollar Tree greenery that I'm going to top it off with. So I did green, Spanish moss, and green. And I even think it would be fun to put some kind of little something inside of there, like a little hidden treasure, like maybe some little fairy garden goodies or something like that. I don't know. Especially if you have kiddos, I think this would be fun to, just add in some treasures that they can look at. And now again, I'm just adding a little bit more greenery. So for this, I used 3 bags of the greenery, or 2 bags of greenery and 1 bag of Spanish moss. So that's $3 there, and then $4 for your larger container, another $1 for your smaller container, and you have a really high-end looking creation. I mean, when you go into a boutique, you see things like this, and they're so expensive, you guys. Now I'm taking some of these Dollar Tree faux greenery ferns, and I just popped a couple of stems in, and they held perfectly in there. I didn't need to use any kind of foam or anything. I'm just gently laying them in there. I want them to look kind of natural and like they're blooming. And then there was another little bit of greenery here that I added for a little bit of dimension that your eye can kind of roam around on. I think it would even be cute to put like a pretty little butterfly in and around the greenery. Again, the sky is the limit with this arrangement, you guys, and this is so easy. It's on a total budget, and I feel like it looks really, really high end, especially if you want to do that garden style that everybody kind of does during the summer. And I'm going to share with you guys another fun way you can do another idea for this in a subsequent video. So I hope you guys love this, and happy crafting. Now for this next Dollar Tree DIY, I want to share with y'all a fun and easy little garden tray. So I'm taking one of these little small wooden trays from the Dollar Tree and then some beautiful garden paper from Hobby Lobby. I'm using my fingernail just to kind of crease the edges of the paper along the bottom because I want it to be the size of the inside of my little tray. So I'm going to decoupage the inside of this tray and make it a pretty little garden tray. And so I'm just going to cut it out to fit what's going to go down inside of there. So I love this paper. I used some in my last video and you guys loved it. So I thought, oh, I have to use it again. Now I'm just going to take some Mod Podge, and you are going to need a fairly generous layer of Mod Podge because the Dollar Tree wood crafts that are unfinished like this really absorb it very quickly. You can add a layer of Mod Podge over that once it dries to seal it off. They even make waterproof Mod Podge if you want to make this waterproof. The next thing I'm doing is I'm taking some of my beautiful Arteza craft paint, and this paint is so beautiful. It's in the gold and I highly recommend it. It is a little bit more because you have to buy it on Amazon. It's about $5, I believe. But it's so worth it because it gives that really elegant, kind of almost brushed metallic flair and makes it kind of look vintagey in my opinion. So I'm using that same little spongy brush and I'm just sponging it all the way around the entire tray. And here is how it turned out. And I'm just popping this little vintage teacup on here and this pretty little flickering flameless candle. I get these off of Amazon. Check my Amazon store. I have a ton of stuff for you that I love that's on a budget. I'll leave the link in the description box for you guys. But here is how it turned out. And here's just some vintage books that I picked up at a thrift store. And then this pretty little bird I found at a garage sale. In fact, I found a pair of them for $4. I was so ecstatic. So anyway, I hope you guys are loving this one as well. Now for this next Dollar Tree DIY, I want to create a set of summer candlesticks, and this is ridiculously easy. You're just going to take 2 of the Dollar Tree candlesticks and a little bit of E6000 glue and some hot glue. I made a generous little layer here, and then I'm going to pop this beautiful new Dollar Tree little votive holder. These are new to my Dollar Tree. I hope you guys can find them. They're so pretty, and they look almost kind of beachy in my opinion, or glam. I'm just going to pop them directly on top of these candlesticks just to create a more of an elegant look. So when you're burning a votive, it's not so low. It can go up a little bit high and give your arrangement some elegance. And here is how they look, and you can pretty much pop them in anywhere. I'm keeping them white. I'm not painting them, but boy, you sure could paint them any color that you love. And then I'm just popping some of these little Dollar Tree votives in, and I think this is so elegant, and it's on a total budget, and you would definitely pay more than $2, which is what it costs for one of the little candlesticks in any kind of home decor store. And always be careful, like when you're burning candles, I always am just supervising this, and this is just for display purposes only. But I do keep them up high and away from my pets. Again, this is just an idea here on this little table, but I think it looks so summery and fresh. And with the whites, you guys can really use them anywhere, but you could paint them again any color that you love. Now for this next Dollar Tree DIY, this one is so easy as well, but so fun and customizable. So you're going to take a Dollar Tree clear glass plate and any beautiful paper that you love. I grabbed this little buffalo check plaid paper from Hobby Lobby, and then I just placed my plate on top of it, traced around it with a pencil on the other side so you don't see it on the side that you're going to be seeing that's pretty, and then I'm just going to cut it out. And so again, you guys can use any pattern that you love to create any kind of plate that you love. So I wanted to just create something kind of country and chic and fresh, and so I'm going to use some Mod Podge and do a nice little layer of Mod Podge, and then pop my piece of pretty paper onto the glass plate face down. That way you can see through it on the other side. And then you can let that dry and add another layer of Mod Podge to seal it in. Now these plates are for decor purposes only. You could maybe serve some covered snacks that are in plastic wrap on them, or set out maybe some candies, but you don't want to eat off of any plate that has any kind of paint or glue on them. Here's a fun idea, is to leave the edge of your plate clear, and you can pop it onto a pretty floral plate or any plate that is patterned or colored. I'm using this vintage plate that I picked up at a garage sale with the blue. I just felt like it was so beautiful with these pops of green. It just feels so fresh and elegant for summer. These easily mix with limes or lemons. I've never decorated with blues before, so you're going to be seeing that this season from me. I'm interested to bring these natural blue tones into my dining room area, and so maybe even possibly my living room. I haven't decided completely on the color of my living room, how I want to work it, but my eye is drawn to blue this season and yellow with the lemons, and so I just want it to be a fresh, relaxed, fun feel, like an English cottage garden style inside my home. loads of greenery and some pops of color with blues and pinks, and just really relaxed and homey and cozy. So as always, I ask you guys, comment and let me know what was your favorite DIY in this video. Which one will you be recreating? I love to see all of your posts in my group page. I love to see all of your projects, and I'm just thankful that you all are here. Here's Benji Bear. He is my trusty, loyal assistant, always here, always getting into everything. And then I have to let you all know, you have to pop onto Nicholas Fairford's channel. He has a really beautiful channel. I love his style, his elegance, and his grace. And I've been having so much fun binge watching his channel, so definitely check that out. And Benji Bear wants to say hello and that he loves all of y'all and just hearing from everybody and all of that good stuff. For the first DIY, I want to share with y'all how to make some homemade chalk paint. So I'm taking 1 cup of regular latex paint. This is just white paint, and then half a cup of baking soda, and I'm going to mix those together. You want to give it a really good mixy mix, and fair warning, this chalk paint will be a little bit grainy. The next thing I want to do is take one of these Dollar Tree galvanized tins, and I'm just going to begin to chalk paint the outside of the tin. Now I do love using chalk paint because it dries rather quickly and it does adhere to most surfaces rather easily. The next thing I'm going to do is let that dry, and then I'm going to give it a whole nother coat of chalk paint, and then you're going to let that dry. And I'm going to share with you guys this really cool rustic aging effect. I actually saw it on Our Green Acres. It's another YouTuber that does some amazing DIYs. And so I just want to take this graphic from graphicsfairy.com, and I'm going to adhere the graphic to the outside of my little tin. And for these DIYs, I'm going for a French country look. So I went to graphicsfairy.com and I just typed in French country, and they have a lot of free printables that you all can download to your computer and then just print off of your computer. And this is just on regular old printer paper. So I'm adhering this now to the outside of my little galvanized tin, and then I'm taking actually an old makeup brush, and I just dipped it in some gold paint, and I'm going to kind of begin to give it like a layered rustic effect. So I'm adding in the gold paint and then the brown paint, and that's going to give it some layers and make it look a little bit older. But we're going to take it one step further with this really cool way to make something look rustic. You're going to take your Mod Podge and you're going to Mod Podge the outside of whatever you have painted, and then you're going to take some cinnamon and you're going to dust cinnamon on top of the Mod Podge. But first you want to lay down a really nice layer of Mod Podge, and that's going to give something for your cinnamon to attach to. Now the cinnamon is so cool. I love this technique. And so you're just going to layer that on top of whatever it is that you're trying to make look old, and then give it a dusting. You'll let that dry, and then you'll go over that with another layer of Mod Podge. And this is going to make this really cool vintage aged look. And I kind of dusted over the whole thing. Now when it came to the graphic, I did wipe a little bit of the brown off of that. I still wanted that to show through, but I wanted this to have like a really cool French country farmhouse look, something that's been aged. The next thing I wanted to do was take this little cone foam and make a topiary to go on top of my little rustic aged tin. So I'm taking this piece of foam and I'm hot gluing this Dollar Tree moss to the outside of it. Be patient with this. It does get a little bit messy. You're going to want to have something underneath this craft, but just continue to add layers of hot glue and then more moss. And I did use an entire bag of moss for this project, but it comes out really cool. So once I had that finished, I'm going to use a wooden dowel, again from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to pop a wooden dowel into the base of my little topiary. So you're going to push that into the base of your topiary, and you also want to add some foam into your little wooden tin. So I'm popping some foam into my tin, and then that's going to give somewhere for me to push my little topiary into. Now Dollar Tree carries these really cool they're just kind of like greenery, and I took 2 of these greenery garlands and I attach them end to end, and that made one longer garland. And then I attached the bottom part of the garland into my foam and then begin to wind it around my little floral topiary piece. And I am just so in love with this. So it is a little bit of work with the painting technique, but for only a couple of dollars, you guys are going to have a fabulous topiary. And these are so fun to use in your spring and summer decor. And you could even, through the holidays, pop in some fall leaves and some little Christmas baubles if you wanted to. I'm going to take the remaining foam, or the remaining moss, and I'm going to layer the rest of the moss on top of my tin. And I did use some hot glue, and then I had one leaf pop off, so I thought I would pop that under there. Now I made a quick little bow and added a dazzling jewel to the center of it. This was just my way of dressing it up. That is totally optional, but you guys know I love my bows and my bling. Oh, and I get all of my craft bling from totallydazzle.com. It's Natalie, and she's a small business, which I love supporting small businesses. So I'm going to leave a link in my description box of this video so you guys can go to her site and check out some of her bling. It's like $1.50 a piece for some really pretty bling. So I hope you all are loving this fun and fabulous little DIY. Now for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take this large Dollar Tree gift box and I'm going to chalk paint the top of it white. I want to create a French farmhouse, a really cute, just little decorative box that I can use in my kitchen. And so I'm going to chalk paint the entire thing white on the top. And it did take 2 coats of chalk paint for this to be covered. And I will tell you, I really think this box is really super cute. Like I could see myself using it in my bathroom as decor or even my little beauty space. But for this particular DIY, I do want to do a French farmhouse look on this, and so that's why I'm going to go ahead and chalk paint it white. So once I had it chalk painted all the way white, I let it dry probably about 30 minutes in between coats, and then I gave it one more coat of chalk paint. And then I went to graphicsfairy.com and I did print out a really cute little graphic to go on the top of this, which I'm going to share with you in just a minute. But now I'm going to take some of that Dollar Tree contact paper, and my idea is to line the edge of the box with the contact paper. And that way I'll have a really cute kind of like, I think this is like really French farmhouse chic contact paper. It's so pretty with the black and white. And it'll just give it a little bit of a different look rather than painting the entire thing white. And you could go even a step further and add contact paper to the inside of it or the bottom, but I really didn't feel like that was necessary. And I do struggle with contact paper just a little bit, so I felt like this was sufficient enough. So again, I'm just tracing the edges of my box and then getting the right size contact paper and then adding that contact paper to the edges of my little box. And that was also giving the top part of my box plenty of time to dry in between paint coats. And you're not going to see the top lip, you can tell up here, so it's just fine to go ahead and pop that in here. You guys can make some really fun boxes like these, especially if you have room at the top of your kitchen cupboard and you just wanted something fun and decorative. Now the next step is to add a layer of Mod Podge. This was the Mod Podge that I used in that rustic cinnamon technique, so it did have a little bit of brown to it, but that was fine because I'm actually going to add another layer on top of that. And this little graphic was from graphicsfairy.com. It's free. You guys can go to their website and type in French country and you'll find all different kinds of French country graphics and ideas. And I will try to post these on my blog as well, and that way you guys can just go right there and you can click on it and download it that way. But now I'm just using some little Dollar Tree embellishment with this pretty little ribbon, and I'm going to add that to the top and the bottom of this, and that's just going to kind of jazz things up a little bit. I love kind of to embellish things and make them look just even a little bit more fabulous in my opinion. Now I'm taking these cute little burlap rosettes and I'm just going to hot glue them to the corner. I've shared with you guys before how to make burlap rosettes, but you just take the burlap, wind it around and make a cute little rosette. These actually came from a burlap site, burlapfabric.com, I believe. And then of course I had to add a little jewel to the center of that, and voila, I have a fabulous little Dollar Tree box that looks like something, you know, that I bought at a boutique or a high-end decor store, and we made it for next to nothing, especially if you guys have some of these little baubles and goodies already in your craft stash. Now for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I want to take these super adorable cow prints that I found at Dollar Tree. I shared this with you guys in my last Dollar Tree haul, and I'm going to take some of this kind of Mackenzie Childs inspired scrapbook paper, and you just grab this at Hobby Lobby. I believe it's $1/4, and I'm going to trace the little cow head out to make it the exact same size as the cow head picture, which was, I believe, an 8x10 frame. The next thing I wanted to do was just cut out the little background that was originally in this little cow picture. And actually the background is really cute. If you love decorating with aquas, this would be absolutely perfect and really adorable to use in your space. But I wanted to give it a little bit of kind of like a French country flair or Mackenzie Childs flair. And so I just thought that this paper would kind of jazz things up. The other thing you all can do is customize that paper to whatever decor that you're decorating with. So this is just a fun idea for you guys to take and make your own. The next thing I want to do is just use some Scotch tape and Scotch tape my little cow head to the paper, and I'm going to repeat the exact same process on my other cow head because I wanted it to look similar, and I think these are going to be really cute in my kitchen. I can't wait to share with you guys how I display these. I want to do like a really cute kind of French country farmhouse kitchen decor for summer. Right now I have all of my Easter up, but in upcoming videos you guys will want to look forward to some of that. Now the next thing I want to do is take some of my homemade chalk paint, which I shared with you guys how to make earlier in this video, and I'm just going to chalk paint the edge of the frame. And this is a Dollar Tree frame, so you guys be careful with them when you remove things from them and when you're working with them. They can easily fall apart at the little seam in the corners. That's just a little side note. I've had it happen a million times to me, so in case that happens, you could always use some hot glue or E6000 to try to put it back together, but just be careful when you're painting them that you don't apply too much pressure. The next thing I wanted to do after I chalk painted both of my frames was make them look a little bit rustic. So each one of these frames had a totally different look to them, so I just wanted them to be cohesive. The frames weren't terrible, but I did just want them to match and kind of look like a little bit more aged. So I'm going in with some gold paint as well as some brown paint, and I'm just kind of rubbing it on the edge of the frame. And really you guys can use any little stain or wax or whatever you have on hand to really kind of make it look a little bit aged. And then the next thing I'm going to do is just wipe some of the paint off, and that's also going to kind of distress it because this paint does have a little, or the tissue, I'm just using a paper towel, had a little bit of water on it. And that's kind of a fun way that you guys can distress chalk paint is by using a rag that's just gently wet or also a paper towel. Now, if you don't like these colors or you don't like the way that it's looking, go back in with more of whatever color that you care for the most. So I did go back over these again with a layer of white and then a layer of gold. So you just kind of want to keep layering on paint to give it that kind of antiqued look. So golds and browns, you can even add blacks, whites, creams. Those are kind of going to give it that French country farmhouse flair. And you all can do this really, they look really good when you're using like an antique or vintage style frame. And I'm going to share that with you guys in this video, how to do one that has like a lot of detail, because this layering of paint really shows through with a really nice scrolly design. And once I had layered in multiple layers of paints and I was satisfied with the finished effect, here is how my adorable cow pictures turned out. I think they're so fun and French country chic, and I really feel like they look a little bit more jazzed up with that kind of really neat paper behind it, especially if you guys are crushing on Mackenzie Childs, kind of like I am. You're going to notice that their stuff is really expensive, and so I thought this was a fun way to give that kind of look, French country or French farmhouse or Mackenzie Childs, without breaking the bank. So for the next DIY, I'm actually going to use a frame that I found at Walmart. Walmart has a section where they have any frame for $4. And so I chose this kind of really nice scrolly frame. And for this one, I'm going to use some chalk paint. This was actually a DIY that I did last year, but I wanted to share with you guys kind of how this frame looked originally and then share with you guys what we're going to do with it this year. So part of this DIY is from last year and then part of it is from this year, because I do like to repurpose and reuse my DIYs as I move through the seasons, especially when it comes to frames. And so the white chalk painted frame looks super adorable, but I did want to just do something different. And so once I had it all the way chalk painted for this original one, I just let it dry, and then I did distress it gently with a bit of sandpaper. You guys can always use also a bit of antique wax, which the Waverly antique wax is also sold at Walmart, and I do love using that as well. So get on there, have some fun with it, use whatever colors you love. Now imagine this frame in a turquoise or a pink or whatever vintage style color that you love. Go for it, have fun with it, and get creative.
I lose my breath whenever I see you. You stole my heart, what is it that you do?
Now, what I wanted to do with this frame was give it a little bit kind of a gilded effect. So this would be like a French country kind of gilding effect with this beautiful gold paint. So again, this gold paint is from Arteza Paints, and I did buy this off of Amazon. They have really, really beautiful, realistic looking gold paint. And so I'm adding in the gold paint, and then I'm layering a layer of brown paint underneath it because I want this to look fancy and kind of gilded and a little bit ornate, but not completely new. I don't want it to look, I want it to have a French country look, which French country has a really aged look. And so the next thing I want to do is pop in this cute little rooster. Oh my goodness, this was so cute. And again, I found this off of graphicsfairy.com. They have a ton of free printables. Type in French country and have fun printing out little printables. This is just on regular computer paper. I popped my little fancy rooster in, and there you have it. A fun, fabulous decor piece for very little money on a budget, and it looks like something you would find at a boutique. It could go easily into your kitchen decor, dining room, or even popped into just any little space that you kind of wanted to add that little French country flair to.
You set my world on fire. You're my heart's desire. I just wanna love you, just wanna hold you.
For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take this Dollar Tree kitchen measurement sign, which is absolutely adorable as is, but I want to give it like a vintage kind of aged look. So I'm going to start out, and I'm actually using this old makeup brush. That's one of my favorite things to use sometimes in my paint toolbox is old makeup brushes. They have really soft bristles, and they're just really nice to paint with. So I'm using my homemade chalk paint, and I'm just going to chalk paint the top of my kitchen measurement sign, and I'm going to kind of run a ring around the edges and the bottom. Again, I think it's absolutely adorable as is. There's really no need to DIY this, but I decided to give it a French country farmhouse look, and I just wanted to jazz it up and make it look aged. So it looks kind of new and fun, but I want this to look really cool and aged, like something that we picked up at a flea market that was old and chippy and vintage. So I'm going to lay down this first layer of chalk paint, and then I laid down another layer of chalk paint, and now we're going to go in and give it an aged look, and I'm going to start out with some brown paint. This is just regular brown paint. I believe it's Arteza paint, but you guys can use any brown paint that you can get your hands on that is going to have that kind of almost rustic look or rusty color. And then again, really, you guys can age it however you please with that, whatever colors that you love. You could lay down a chalk painted layer of gray, and that would show through a little bit more gray rather than the white. So again, I'm just layering in this brown paint, and that's kind of the key to really make things look aged, is layers and layers of paint. But we're going to use that really cool technique that I showed you guys earlier in this video with cinnamon, and I think this is such a fun way to make something look really cool and rustic and old. I had a flea market booth years ago, and I always love to make my things look kind of cool and vintage and old. So if you're into that really neat kind of French farmhouse look, or French country, or just like vintage chic flea market style, I know all of that is so in right now, you might want to give this a try. So after I have my layers of brown paint, I'm going to add a layer of Mod Podge on top of the paint. You do want the paint to dry just a little bit, but mine wasn't completely dry, and I felt like it worked just fine. So I added a layer of Mod Podge around where I had painted, and then the next thing I want to do is whip out my cinnamon. Okay, so you're going to grab some cinnamon. This is just cinnamon from your kitchen. I grabbed this cinnamon from Dollar Tree, I believe, and I'm just going to add a layer of cinnamon on top of it, and the cinnamon is going to give it that really neat rustic effect, and I just think that it's so cool and rustic and really, really neat. So I'm going to layer now another layer of Mod Podge on top of the cinnamon, and that's going to seal it in and keep that cinnamon on there. And again, it's just going to make it look kind of really neat and vintage.
Every single day, you set my world on fire. You set my world on fire. I don't know.
And again, a shout out to Our Green Acres. She is the one that showed this really cool vintage effect, and so I just wanted to give her props for inspiring me to give it a go. Now I'm going to take this Dollar Tree. It's just a pretty kind of embellishment ribbon, and I found this in the regular crafting section. It wasn't in the spring section, so keep an eye out for some really neat ribbons and doodly dads that Dollar Tree is showing. The other thing I thought would be fun was to make like a cute little beaded decor piece, and I did buy these beads off of Amazon. They come in a giant pack, and they're about $13. I'll link some in my Amazon store, but I'm just taking this little Dollar Tree twine, I think it's baker's twine maybe is what it's called, and I took a piece of Scotch tape and twisted the Scotch tape onto the end of it, and that way my string could poke through my beads. You could always, thread a needle and thread or something like that, or try to thread like with a larger needle with this, but I didn't have any large hook needles, and so this worked just fine. Now I'm going to tie it off at the top, and I want to make like a cute little wooden bead piece to kind of cascade down my kitchen measurement sign, just to jazz things up. This is totally optional, but I'm next going to take a Dollar Tree tag and these pretty little stickers that my friend Stacy sent me. Thank you, Stacy, for all of the goodies. You're so thoughtful, and I'm always so appreciative of the things that you send to me. I used one of these cute little Dollar Tree stickers, and I'm popping that on to my little tag just to give it kind of like this spring fun vibe. It was like a little potted plant, and these stickers were so cute. Dollar Tree really kills it with their stickers too. You guys will have to check out their Crafters Square and their sticker section. And then I decided to make it match my little kitchen measurement sign. So I'm just using some of that pretty little trim. And again, this is all optional, but I love kind of going for it with the details. And that's really what's going to make things look kind of very boutique-ish, is adding in those little thoughtful details that you might not see in something that's, store-bought, which store-bought things are wonderful and nice as well. But I do love to craft and make the majority of my home decor. Anyway, it's what I love to do. Crafting is good for me, and it makes my house look cute, in my opinion. So the next thing I wanted to do was just add in a little string to the top so I could tie it on there. I did hot glue the top of my bead after I tied it off, just to make sure that it was really going to stick on there really well. I'm taking some of this baker's twine, and I just looped the ribbon up several times, and then I tied a bow, just like a shoelace bow, and then I'm going to add that to my little kitchen measurement sign. I do love to add bows to a lot of things, and I thought about adding a big bow to this, but it was such a small sign, and I really wanted it to look like rustic farmhouse French chic, and so I thought this would be just perfect. So I'm just going to hot glue that up here to the edge, and then add a little string onto the end of my tag, and then that way my little tag can kind of hang off my sign.
My life was great till you added colors, like the moon is the snow, we don't care about the
And here is how it turned out, popped into my little French farmhouse kind of country chic display. This is so stinking cute, and I'm really excited to add this into some of my transitional summer decor coming up. But again, the black and white, you guys will be able to go with really anything. For this first DIY, I'm really excited to share it with you. I'm going to make a home sweet home sign using one of these little Dollar Tree mini signs, and I'm just taking some of this buffalo check plaid paper, and I'm going to cut it out to cover that top part. Now, the top part was really cute, but I'm going to be putting this by my coffee station, and black and white is the theme for this. And so I'm just going to take some waterproof Mod Podge, and you can find that at Walmart, and I'm going to add a layer to this top part, and then I'm just going to add this buffalo check plaid on top of that. And then I did end up adding one more layer on top of the little buffalo check to kind of seal it in. You can always trim off your excess. Really, you can choose any pattern that you love. Go to Hobby Lobby. They have wonderful paper for $1. Now I'm going to take some of these Dollar Tree canvases, and you just want to remove the canvas. And I didn't even worry about sanding it or even taking the staples out, because you're not going to see that part. The next thing I wanted to do was to glue the canvases together. What I want to make is a little photo display to sit next to my coffee stand. I was talking with Mr. Romantic last night, and we were reminiscing about our wedding, and it seems like we just don't have enough of our wedding pictures up, so I wanted to create this for our wedding pictures. And it's been a long time since we got married, but it's fun to look back on all of those sweet moments. So then I just glued those home sweet home sign now to the top of this, and it's kind of creating like a little faux window arch. You guys can see it started raining on me there for a minute, and I'm just taking some of the Dollar Tree mini clothespins, and I'm going to glue those to the top. That way I can change out the pictures on my little photo display here. And so I have been really enjoying crafting out on my patio. And I apologize if my head is in the shot a couple of times here, but finding new camera angles here that you guys could see everything was a little bit tricky, but I will get the hang of crafting and decorating on my porch, and I hope you guys are loving it. So I just added again those 4 little mini paper clips, and then I added some of my family photos, and I chose these special moments from my wedding, and it just really made my heart sparkle and shine. And Mr. Romantic was he smiled when he got home, because he remembered our conversation and what we had talked about and all the funny moments that happened in our wedding and whatnot. So here is how it turned out, and you guys could also create one of these for a real bridal engagement announcement or for a baby shower. Now, I've seen other people take and remove the acetone on that sign. So that is something that's an option as well. You guys can just use some fingernail polish remover, remove the Home Sweet Home part, and customize it to whatever event that you're planning. But I'm loving this. Here it is popped into my coffee station. And again, another idea for a bride.
We were meant to be.
So for this Dollar Tree DIY, I have to share with you how to create an outdoor or indoor pillow for that matter using those Dollar Tree bath mats. And I did see this idea originally on Glue Guns and Roses. You guys have to go check her out. She has the most amazing channel and Megan is just so funny. Okay, so for my rendition of this, I'm going to take 2 of these Dollar Tree bath mats, and I actually thought that the little pattern on the front was pretty cute, but I'm going to end up insiding this out. So I'm just using hot glue. Listen, if you guys have a sewing machine, totally sew this, or you could even hand stitch this, but I love to get things done fast and quick, and so I'm just using this hot glue. And trust me when I tell you that I have washed my pillows that I have hot glued together. I've washed so many things. I've even hot glued clothing pieces before and washed them. I use a high temp glue, and I generally wash most of my things on cold, and so there you have that. But you want to glue all 3 sides together, the 2 long sides and then the shorter side, and then you can leave the end to push your stuffing into. And I just used an old pillow. You can use polyfill. You could even use some Walmart bags. That's another thing a lot of you all say that you use for some of your outdoor pillows. So I'm going to stuff this with some of that old pillow stuffing, and I got it pretty nice and stuffed, but then you want to leave just a little bit at the end that's not stuffed so you can tuck those edges under. So now you can see I'm tucking the edge under. This part right here is probably the most tricky part, but it's doable. You just need to go in little small sections. So you're going to tuck both those edges under and glue. And again, you guys can totally sew this if you have the patience for it and you have the means to do it. I wanted to get this done quick, so here you go. Now, the next part of this DIY, I'm going to share with you how to make a tassel with some of the Dollar Tree soft nautical rope. So it just pulls apart into 3 sections. So you want to pull those 3 sections apart, and then you can begin to play with it as a tassel. So what I did for mine was I took a comb, and this is just one of those Dollar Tree combs. I've also seen people use like a bristle brush to try to make things more tassel-y, so that's an idea as well. So now I'm just going to cut another section and make a little bit larger tassel, really as many sections as you want to create whatever size tassel that you love. Again, I'm going to give it a little bit of a brush, and then once I'm satisfied with that and that it's all looking really boho chic tassel-y, then I'm going to attach it to my pillow. So really the sky is the limit on how you want to decorate your pillow, but I think this is such a fun idea for an outdoor pillow. If you guys look on the Pottery Barn website, they are so expensive, this boho kind of chic, like coastal look, and this is perfect for your summer beach vibes. I even thought about using my new Cricut Joy and, customizing it with some fun little lettering. The next thing I wanted to do was add some beads to my tassel, and then I just attached that. And here is the final product. Oh my goodness, so fun and fabulous on a total budget.
And think about us, I can see the person I know I should be. 'Cause honestly, I don't have no time to waste. I'm trying to come back to you, because now I see we were meant to be. Just tell me where and I'll come see ya. 'Cause I'm afraid that I'll end up here alone. Hope you'll understand how much I need ya. Take me back.
For this next Dollar Tree DIY, I want to share with y'all how to make a super in style Dollar Tree wall hanging. So from the Dollar Tree, I grabbed a bamboo tiki torch and just detached the top part of the tiki torch. And then I detached one of the Dollar Tree mop heads, and I only ended up needing one. And then I'm taking the string from the mop head and I'm going to wrap it around the middle part of this tiki torch. Now you're going to cut some of these strands in half. So here's how you make this knot. With half the strand, or it cut in half, you're just going to gently fold it in half and lay it underneath that first long string. And then you take the second one and you just fold that in half as well. And then you're going to take and push that second string through the little loop that's in the first string, and then take the end of the first string and push it through the other loop. Now watch my hands, you guys. This is actually really easy. I promise you, you can totally do this. Watch my hands, rewind the video if you need to. But I was so excited to figure this out, and check out how adorable this knot is. So we're going to make it look like a feather is how it is supposed to come out looking. And I'm just going to gently pull my little strings together and push it up. And you guys can do this with your kiddos, with your grandkids. Seriously, this is such a fun craft. And my daughter, who is a teen, saw it and thought it was amazing. So I know that it's in style and just fun and really kind of boho chic. Okay, now we're just going to continue that same process. So you fold one loop in half, the other loop in half, and then just tuck the loops inside of each other, and that's going to make your knot. So I hope that you guys can see what I'm doing and that these instructions are good. And I'm going to show, this same process over and over. So I hope that you guys can kind of understand this. I was so nervous, honestly, when I tried this because I didn't think I was going to be able to figure it out, but I figured it out. So I was super stoked. Here is a little bit more of a close up. And again, you're only going to use 3 long strings of the mop, and all of the rest of the parts of the mop strings you're going to cut in half. Okay, so continue on with that. Now this part is a little bit tedious, tying these loops, but pop a little show on, put on some fun music, have somebody help you, and kick back and make a really in style wall hanging. This is a great way to try this out. Now think about this. You guys could really even customize this to suit your colors. I'm going to make 3 of these. So there's going to look like there's kind of 3 hanging feather looks. And then you're going to take a comb, or you can take one of those wire brushes from Dollar Tree that you would clean a grill with, and you just want to kind of pull those strands out. So it's going to give it kind of like a little bit more of a feathered look, or a little bit more boho chic, I guess is what you say. And the comb is going to fill up with some of the cotton strands from the mop. That's how it should be. And you can just pull that out and then keep on brushing and have fun with it. Get creative. Use whatever colors you love. Use whatever kind of stick you love. You could also just use a stick, from your garden. This is going to go out on my patio above my welcome sign. Now you can take some hair trimming scissors, and I just picked these up at Walmart. I use them to cut my hair. You need kind of some sharper scissors to do this part, and you're just going to cut it into the shape of a feather. And again, here's my other 3 strings, and I'm just cutting my little mop strings apart to make my little feather part. So again, just make those loops and then loop them together, and you guys can go for it. Now, I thought that it might be quicker to brush them out as I went, but then I decided just to create my little feather, give it a good brushing and then trimming, and then there you guys have that. And then you can also choose whatever kind of string you want to use to hang your hanger. So I had this really pretty chenille yarn that I bought at Dollar Tree, and originally I thought I was going to use that, but I did end up changing to like more of like an outside burlap string. I'm really not for sure which one I like the best. I've looked at both of them, and I think they both look really super cool. So here is how it looks once I got all my feathers created, and here is what I'm showing you. You guys can just take some string or yarn. This was just chenille yarn from Dollar Tree, and I'm just winding it around the ends of that, and then you can make your hanger. And again, I did change to that little burlap piece, but check it out. I think it looks really neat. It looks very boho chic and very outdoor friendly as well. You can spray it with some Scotch Guard to make it even more weatherproof. For this next Dollar Tree DIY, I wanted to share with you all an idea for how to create some coasters using Dollar Tree coasters, or I used some wood pieces that we had left over from building the little railing on our deck, and I'm just going to hot glue those little wood pieces together. I actually wanted to use my Dollar Tree coasters, but my craft room is a bit of a mess, and so I couldn't find them. It's almost time for a craft clean out very soon, you guys. And so I'm just going to take some of the Dollar Tree cork board, and I just traced out the shape of my little coasters, and then I'm going to cut the cork board to fit the size of the coaster. And I wanted to make them super extra strong. I'm going to use these out on my patio underneath my covered porch. So I'm just using hot glue. You could also use E6000 glue if you live in a really hot climate, but I wanted to make sure that the cork part really stayed on there, and that cork part should help absorb water that is going to drip from a nice cool drink. So I'm doing another one that's exactly the same as that first one, and really, again, you guys get so creative with this one. Dollar Tree carries coasters, so you guys could easily do a coaster that's customized however you want. But I wanted to reuse these little wood pieces, and I think it would even be fun to stain or to do something with the wood pieces, maybe paint them and seal them, but I was kind of just going for it. Now, the next thing I wanted to share with you guys, I did do like a little geometric design on these, and I did use some of the Dollar Tree paint markers. However, I do not encourage you all to use these. Use some permanent markers for this part, because when I put my drink on there, it did kind of rub off a little bit, so I'm going to have to redo these and use a permanent marker. Or I also probably could have sealed this with some waterproof Mod Podge. That's also an idea, because it didn't ruin it, but it did bleed just a tiny bit after having my cold drink on it. I did want to test it out for you guys so I could let you know if the Dollar Tree paint pens worked. Don't use these. I would suggest using like a Sharpie marker, or again, just maybe you could use this and seal it with some Mod Podge. So that's just a little tip, from me to you. I wanted to let you all know that just in case, but I created these using a cool like little geometric design, and I thought they looked really fabulous popped in here with my little setup. I've got some Dollar Tree succulents and those little Dollar Tree lemon glasses, a little nice flickering flameless candle. I love these, you guys. They're battery operated on a timer. I'm going to link some in my Amazon store for you guys. Have to check them out. You can get like a 3-pack for $11, I think. And then that little cute French country pot that we had made in another DIY, and that tray is from Dollar General. Great deal on that as well. So happy crafting with this one. Oh my goodness, you guys, I don't know, I'm just having so much fun crafting for summer and spring. Now the next DIY, I want to share with you how I'm going to style my little 3-tier tray. I created this using Dollar Tree supplies. Go check that video out. But I'm going to use some of this lamb's ear and then one of these "But First Coffee" signs. I picked this up at Dollar General. And then I'm just showing you some different ideas. I've got my Dollar Tree prayer cards. I love these. I share a prayer card with you guys every morning on Instagram, so I hope you all are enjoying that. I'm sharing with you different ideas. You could use a little mini house. You could use some muffins. You could use lemons. I'm trying to make something kind of short here so I don't completely cover up my prayer card, because after I'm done reading it, I do like to keep it out. That way when I'm doing dishes or whatnot, I can just look over it through my day. I'm popping some more lamb's ear in here. This cord back here drives me absolutely bonkers. So anything that you guys have that's an idea, I usually just kind of try to lightly cover it with like a little sign that stands up kind of against my tray. Now I'm adding a little gingham yellow napkin. This was just left over from Easter. And then my coffee creamer I'm going to have popped in over here. These are some of my little Mackenzie Childs mugs, a gift from Mr. Romantic. He found these on last year's Mackenzie Childs barn sale, which somebody had let me know that there's going to be another barn sale going on. And you guys need to shop their barn sales because everything pretty much is half off. Not everything, but a good amount of things. Like all of these goodies were half off. So anyway, it's definitely the time to buy because their stuff is so high end and pricey. So if you're going to do a little bit of a splurge, you definitely want to get those better prices. And this little Dollar Tree, when life gives you lemons, make something sweet. I love that. I used that last year as well. And it's just such a great mantra. I feel like, you can always turn something that's a lemon into something sweet. Oh, and these little foam muffins are amazing. They have little tiny magnets inside, so they actually like clip together really well. You can't see them, but it's a fun little feature that I didn't really realize until I was playing with them. But they're foam muffins and they look so realistic. Now I decided to take my little coffee sign and hang it on this hook underneath my little coffee area. You can kind of see it a little bit better, and then I also feel like it covers up those ugly cords. So anyway, comment down below and let me know if you guys have any ideas for that coffee sign. And I just want to thank you all so much for being here. It's a true blessing and honor to have so many of you guys here and commenting and crafting and decorating. And I just love y'all so much. Okay, so my secret question for this video is, so comment down below and let me know, how are you decorating for summer? Do you use watermelon, lemons, greenery, black and white check? How do you guys go for your summer decor? I would love to know. I love to add pops of color with the lemons and sunflowers, and I do quite a bit of black and white check kind of in my kitchen just to give it a bit of a neutral vibe. But I'm really excited for the upcoming spring summer decor season. And I have to share with you guys something else. We are fixing our backyard. Finally, it has been quite a bit of a mess. And so we had dirt dumped today. And so that was really an exciting thing. I thought I would share it with you guys. And so anyway, Binge Bear popped out and was also able to be a part of the adventure, but our backyard was like all pretty much, they call it moon rock in the area that I live, but it was just all where we didn't have a yard. And so they pulled a lot of that rock up last year, but then it's just been kind of this mess. When you guys see me spray painting on that gravel, that's been our backyard, which isn't the end of the world. I'm thankful and blessed to have a backyard, but we're going to now have some dirt and hopefully put down some grass seed and have some beautiful seed grow. And there's my little creative director. He is checking it out. This is like his dream come true. I don't know if you guys have ever had a terrier puppy dog. He's actually a Jack Russell terrier mix. It's a Jack Russell Yorkie mix, and anyway, they love to dig, so you guys can check out how he is getting so excited. I thought you guys would get such a kick out of him. He's normally never allowed like off the deck or not on a leash, but he was being such a good boy, just staying right here. I just thought I had to get a clip for you guys. I know so many of you all are Binge Bear fans, and then also your puppy dogs even watch to see Binge Bear. So here he is in all his glory, very businesslike in his approach. He has lots to sniff out and fun times ahead. So I'm excited to have a little yard and a fence for him in the future. This first DIY is so awesome and a great way to repurpose and reuse an old candle. So from the Dollar Tree, you're going to grab one of their molds and then take your old candle, pop it into some boiling water, and you don't really have to have that much water in there. It took about 20 minutes for my candle to melt down to where it's liquid. Use some tongs and definitely oven mitts to remove it from the pan. Turn off your pan, and then you can go ahead and take that melted wax and make some really beautiful molds. So these are going to be wax melts that you guys can pop into one of the little Dollar Tree melting doodly dads, and I'll share that with you guys in a minute. Be really careful, just a little bit goes a long way. And I filled my tray up to just where it was full, and some of them even kind of ran over, but here is how they came out. It's okay if a little bit of the wax ran over. I was nervous about that, but it did not mess it up at all. So check out these beautiful rose molds, and my sweet friend Stacy had sent this to me back during Valentine's Day, and I had wanted to try it, and it's now just getting to where I can try it. But how cool is this? And they work completely perfect if you have a wax warmer. And I love this because I love to burn candles, and I hate when I have to waste that little bit of wax at the end, especially when it's a nice candle that I got from Bath and Body Works, and I love this smell. So you can put some out in your bathroom for your guests to enjoy, or just to look really pretty, especially if you have those little rose melts. But they're also going to be putting some really fun ones out for summer that I can't wait to grab in like pineapple shapes and all that kind of fun stuff. And so here's one of the little Dollar Tree warmers. You can pop a votive in here, a little tea light votive, and then pop your pretty little wax mold on here. and light it, and then you have this wonderful little inexpensive recycled and repurposed wax melt. So I just thought that was super cool. I had to share it with you guys. I have been wanting to try this forever, just not getting around to it. So I hope you guys are inspired to take some of your leftover candles and make them fabulous on a total budget. For this next DIY, I want to share with y'all how to jazz up the Dollar Tree hand towels. So grab some of the Dollar Tree bling wrap and unwrap your hand towel, and then flip it over to the back side, and then you're going to use your hot glue gun and just add some dibbly-dad dudes of hot glue to the back of your hand towel and begin to gently apply your bling wrap. Now, if you don't want to burn your fingertips, I have really strong fingertips. You guys ask me about that all the time. Just use a little spatula. It works perfectly to press down your little hot glue and bling, because with the bling and the hot glue, it does push through just a bit. Now, this is going to be for decor purposes. It's going to go on top of your pretty hand towel that's in your powder room or bathroom, and then you can just run the bling wrap in and around the rest of your towel. And Dollar Tree sells several different colors of bling wrap. I've seen blue, gold, silver. Just check in their craft section in their ribbon area. And then you can also find bling wrap at totallydazzled.com, and I will leave a link for Totally Dazzled down below. They sell it in the larger rolls, so that's kind of nice to have as well. And they also sell a really beautiful rose gold bling wrap, but Dollar Tree bling wrap works totally fine for this project as well. And then once you have your bling wrap glued where you want it to, you can just trim it off with some little scissors, and you can go between the little spots of the bling, and that's the best part, to trim it off. And then I'm taking one of these beautiful napkin rings. This was from totallydazzled.com as well. Again, I'll leave the link in the description box, but you can just pull your little Dollar Tree towel through a pretty napkin ring. Dollar Tree also sells napkin rings that you guys could bedazzle with some pretty jewels, and top it on top of your regular hand towel. Make sure your guest gets a hand towel underneath. That way they can use that one, and the pretty bling towel hopefully will stay okay in your bathroom. But I thought this was such a fancy, fabulous way to jazz up a $1 hand towel. And think about this: if you guys have some pretty broken jewelry, or even something that was passed down to you that you guys wanted to use to accent this piece, you could make it into a brooch and just clip that on your pretty little bling towel. You could add lace to it, ribbons, bows, so many ideas. This is how I thought it would be pretty styled in my bathroom, but really the sky is the limit. Now, did you know that the Dollar Tree sells these blank little bathroom toothbrush containers? Grab some, because there's so many ideas that you guys can make and create with these. For this one, I decided to take one of the white ones, the little toothbrush holder, and some of this bling wrap. Now, this is the larger bling wrap that I was telling you that I get off of totallydazzled.com. Again, I'll leave a link in the description box for you, but you could always use the Dollar Tree bling wrap. I'm using this larger one because it just comes in a larger kind of roll or sheet. And Natalie, who is with totallydazzled.com, is a little small business owner. She's amazing. I love supporting small businesses, so check her out if you have the opportunity. But you're going to go ahead and cut your bling the size of your toothbrush holder, and then you can just hot glue it directly onto your container. But it is helpful to go ahead and pre-cut it in advance. That way you're not struggling to try to cut it once it's already on the object. Then you can begin to glue down the side of your little toothbrush holder, and I did add a pretty generous layer here. And again, you can use a spatula when you're pressing the bling down onto any object that you're hot gluing, and then just continue to hot glue around the entire thing. Make sure on that bottom part that your bling doesn't go too far, because you do want your toothbrush holder to sit flat. I hope that makes sense. And really, again, the sky is the limit. You can grab any color of bling wrap. They have the rose gold, which I also love, from the totallydazzled.com as well. And I'm going to share with you guys some of the rose gold jewelry that I'm using for the front of this. But the next thing I'm doing is taking some of the Dollar Tree faux pearls and I'm going to hot glue them around my little toothbrush holder. Now you may want to take some time and use like an E6000 glue if your toothbrush holder is going to be getting a lot of traffic. I feel like this will be fine. It's just my daughter and I that use this particular powder room, and so I think that we can be gentle enough that hopefully they don't pop off. I will give you guys an update on them. Next, I'm taking this beautiful jewel, again from totallydazzled.com. That link will be in the description box for you guys, and I used hot glue and also E6000, and I used a generous amount because I don't want this popping off, and it just needed a good amount. So anyway, here is how it turned out. Oh my goodness, I am so excited for this. I always go to Home Goods and TJ Maxx and see these blinged out toothbrush holders and soap containers, and I just really couldn't justify spending the money, but I did have the supplies already in my stash, and with the little Dollar Tree $1 toothbrush holder, there's so many ideas for it. Now, if you guys don't like to get this fancy with your bathroom decor, you could always use a Cricut or some rub-on transfer letters and just make some pretty lettering and make it a little bit more of like a farmhouse style. But really, the sky is the limit. Have fun with it. Get creative. Make a jazzy little fun fabulous goodie for your bathroom. Now for this next DIY, I want to share with y'all how you can take 2 containers. I found this larger container at Walmart and the smaller one is from Dollar Tree, and then some of this Dollar Tree little glitter vase filler, and pop it in between the 2 vases. And honestly, you guys, I had this left over from the holidays. I really wanted to use pearls here, but it would take a lot of pearls to fill this up. So the next time I'm at Dollar Tree and I see pearls, or maybe I'm out at the thrift store and there's a big bundle of pearls, maybe I'll use that. But for now, I felt like this would be festive and a fun idea. Now, if you guys saw my Easter videos, I did do like the little peeps and jelly beans in this vase. But now that Easter is over and my peeps were looking a little bit faded and my jelly beans were getting sad, I decided to clean it all out and create this pretty DIY, and I'm pretty proud of myself because I'm already using this that I already had on hand, plus it gives me extra storage where this box was in my craft space, so it's a total win. And I think this looks really pretty cute. It looks really glam. And then I'm just using these $3 tulips that I found at Walmart. A lot of you all have been asking about tulips. You can order them on Amazon or you can go to Walmart. They're $3 a bundle. They also have them at Michael's and Hobby Lobby. Now I'm taking some of this pretty satin ribbon from Dollar Tree and it's silver, and I just made a double loop. So I just took the ribbon and folded it over on itself, and then I'm going to tie it on here, and that's going to make a little bit more of a fancy bow. And this is just a shoelace bow, so you just tie a bow like you're tying your shoelaces, and then you're going to want to pull the little ribbon loops out and then cut it off where you had tied those little tails. I also take a lighter and I heat seal the ends of my ribbon. That's something I always did for any of the creations that I made in my Etsy shop. It's a nice little finishing touch that you guys probably want to think about when you're working with satin ribbon because you don't want it to fray on the end. So there you have it, a fabulous, easy, boutique, gorgeous idea on a total budget. I think it looks fancy and really pretty. It brings out the silver and the gold and the whites, and then the beautiful pop of tulips definitely accents that. And there I am. It was really hard not to get myself in the shots of doing these DIY for you guys. So I just thought I'd throw one in there for you. And then I have to share with you guys, it was so funny. So Bingy Bear was like hanging out outside my bathroom and outside my daughter's room, just waiting for one of us to get done doing our goodies and having fun so he could play with one of us. He's so sweet and so patient. For this next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm trying out the do-it-yourself Dollar Tree candle making kit. Okay, so here's how it comes. It comes with 3 little packets, and they do have different colors and scents that you can choose from. And it comes with your little glass and your little wick already in there. So I did notice that in my kit, the wax was a little bit kind of clumped together, so I did have to use my fingers and kind of unclump it. And then you can take and just begin to pop the wax down into your candle. So I really did think that this was really pretty easy, and you can make like little, I feel like this was making kind of like a little orange or a little rainbow sherbet ice cream candle. So that's what I'm going to call it. That's what it reminded me of. So I'm just taking my little wax packets and I'm kind of like running them in there and just not putting all of them in at once. I'm layering them. I could not find the words for that. Anyway, layer it, make it however you want it to look. But I thought it was cool kind of where it was like layered, where it looked like a sorbet. That's what, again, it reminded me of. But this was really, really easy. I hauled this like a couple of months ago, I think, and I shared it with you guys, and I told you guys that I would give you an update on it. And here's the update. It's so easy. I mean, anybody can do this, any age can do this part of it, but definitely, you know, if you're lighting it, make sure it's out of reach of pets and kids and be the one to light it. Also, I wanted to let you guys know that little Hello Sunshine candle back behind me is from Bath and Body Works. It smells so delicious. It's like a citrus cinnamon, which sounds odd, but oh my goodness, it smells so yummy in my kitchen. Okay, so now we are going to light the Dollar Tree candle and see how it burns. And I will tell you, I let it burn for about an hour and it burns fairly nicely. It's a bit odd though, because it kind of burns down straight. It doesn't burn down like a flat candle. And I guess that I did it correctly. Anyway, for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I have to share with you guys how to make a cute little candle stand. So from the Dollar Tree, you're going to grab one of the glass candlesticks, and then I'm just using this little Dollar Tree mirror. I love these. They have like this pretty silver bling around them. You also might want to turn your mirror over so you can really get your candlestick centered. The next thing I did was I took some of these little Dollar Tree bling gems and some E6000 glue, and I just ran gems down the entire inside part of my little mirror. I wanted to really dazzle it up. Again, I see these really pretty bling gem stands at Home Goods, and they're so expensive, so I thought, why not share with you guys how I can create one. Maybe you can create one on your own using some Dollar Tree supplies, and my little candle fit perfectly in there. I'm also using some of this Dollar Tree bling wrap. I'm just going to wrap it around the base of my candle, again, just to make it look a little bit more glamorous and fabulous. And then I did end up adding a pretty little bling jewel to it, and I'm just hot gluing it directly onto this glass. You could always use just a touch of E6000 if you need to, but this is my little powder room. It doesn't get a whole ton of traffic, and I think it'll be just fine with the hot glue. Trim it off and then choose whatever beautiful jewel you have in your craft stash. Again, I'm using this glam jewel from totallydazzled.com. They have the prettiest jewels. They're a small business. Check them out. I'll leave the link in the description box for you guys. But here is how it turned out. So fun and fabulous on a total budget, you guys. And road testing the Dollar Tree candle, I give it a thumbs up just for DIY factor. It may not be the most amazing candle in the world, but it was a fun little project and super easy and, you know, DIY friendly, I guess. Like, pretty much anybody could do it, I feel. So I hope that helps and gives you guys some information on that one. Now for this next DIY, I want to share with you all how you can take a regular wax candle from Dollar Tree and some bling wrap. And this bling wrap, again, is that larger sheet. I got this from totallydazzled.com. I will leave a link in the description box for you guys, but you can just size it to what you need. And then you're going to make sure that you size it around the width of the candle and get the correct length, because you're going to use the bling wrap to hold the bling wrap together. So I've shared with you guys how to do this with ribbon, I believe, but you can also do this with bling wrap and make a really fancy candle. Now, note, this is not for burning. You are just going to want to use this for decor purposes only, obviously, but I just wanted to put that in as a side note. But you're going to run a little bit of hot glue down it and then gently put that bling wrap on top of it. Use a spatula if you have sensitive fingers. The next thing I'm going to do is add another jewel to this, and you just pop that on. and it stayed really, really well. So I used hot glue, glued that directly onto my candle, and check this out. I have this cute little high-end looking candle, and customized candles like this are so expensive, and I'm not quite for sure why, because they're really not super hard to make. Now I'm taking some of this waterproof Mod Podge, and really you guys could use any Mod Podge, but I do like using the waterproof Mod Podge when I have it on hand because you can dust it off easily. So if this was sitting out for a while and you needed to just gently dust it, but you're going to take a little sponge brush or any little brush and add your Mod Podge on. Make sure you leave the wick up, that way it still looks like a candle. And again, this is for decor purposes only, do not burn this. But I'm taking this beautiful silver glitter. I love this glitter. It's like a really fine glitter. It's super cheap at Walmart, and you just sprinkle it over the top. You can add another layer of Mod Podge to seal it off if you want to, and that way you don't have as much fallout on your glitter. But check this out. It is so dazzling and so extra special and sparkly. I was thrilled to find this and just have so much fun creating this. And really, the sky is the limit. Think about this. They carry all different kinds of glitter, so you guys could customize this with a pretty bow. If you don't want to do the bling wrap, you could make it for any holiday, and you can customize it with any color of glitter. Walmart carries so many different colors of glitter. Check their crafting section and look for their extra fine glitter, and you'll be really amazed at how many different little options you have. So these would make really great little gifts, and I think that they're just so pretty. I mean, I know they're not functional, but they're really pretty. We can always have some pretty little decor pieces that just make us feel a little bit more glamorous, especially when we see this area every single day. That's what I always think about. I'm like, how can I make this little space a little bit more glamorous, since I'm in my bathroom every single day. And check out that pretty angel picture I got at my local flea market. It was so inexpensive. I was really excited to find that. It's kind of fancy, but it matches this pretty gold hardware that's on my little sink here. Okay, for this next Dollar Tree DIY, we're going to make a super jazzy, snazzy, bedazzled, glammed up, fabulous soap dispenser. So Dollar Tree has these blank soap dispensers, and you guys can make these for any area that you need a cute little soap dispenser. I'm using some of this large bling wrap from totallydazzled.com. And again, I'll leave the link in the description box for you guys, but I just love Natalie. She's so sweet. So anyway, I'm going to hot glue my bling wrap onto my little blank soap dispenser. And don't forget too, you guys can use an old spatula to press your glue down. I do have neuropathy in the ends of my fingers, so I don't feel the ends of my fingers as much as I should. So that can be a benefit when I'm crafting. A lot of you guys ask about that, how I can do this gluing without it burning my fingers. It's because I really can't feel them a whole lot. Anyway, on we go. We're going to top this off with a little bit of bling wrap around the top as well. Let's just totally go over the top. Might as well cover up that plastic part. And then I'm going to add some pretty pearls from Dollar Tree. In the crafting section, you can find these beautiful pearls. They come in a bag. They're amazing. They're super fun to craft with. And I'm just hot gluing them all the way around. I want this to match my little toothbrush holder container. And again, I see these kind of really beautiful blinged out containers at HomeGoods. I never buy them because I know that I can make them, and I would rather spend $1 and use some of my crafting goodies. And so now I'm just going to add a really pretty little jewel to totally jazz it up with some hot glue and a bunch of E6000 because I really want it to stay on there really well. And I'm going to pop that on to the front of my container, and you can fill it with whatever soap that you love. Now I did take one extra step on this, and I grabbed my Mod Podge and I added a layer of Mod Podge and glitter to the inside part of this. My gluing on this particular one, I felt like needed to be just kind of covered a little bit. It got a little messy. So anyway, the Mod Podge was a great trick for this. And then I'm just using this beautiful sparkling silver glitter. Hey, this is from Walmart. I think it was like $2.97 for this big giant tub full. And you guys can customize this project with any color that you love, and you don't even have to go glam. You can use one of these Dollar Tree blanks and make like a little farmhouse container, or really however you guys want to jazz this up. But just think about making something pretty and cute for your bathroom. Now how sparkly are we? I think this is so amazing and fun, and just such an easy way to do something beautiful beautiful on a budget. And these would be a nice gift as well. This next DIY, I have to share with you all a super fabulous way to razzle dazzle up your Bath and Body Works sprays, or any sprays that you have that you think could just, use that extra glam touch. So I'm going to take some hot glue in this larger bling wrap and just bling wrap hot glue this around my little Bath and Body Works spray. Now, of course, this is only going to be good until the spray runs out, but I love the Bath and Body Works containers that are so pretty and dazzling, but sometimes I really don't want to spend a lot for them, and I've also heard that they can rust on the bottom. So anyway, I was like, well, I have bling wrap, I might as well jazz it up and not have to spend anything except for what I have in my bling wrap, which I have a huge roll of this, so a little bit goes a long way. Anyway, so I'm just adding bling wrap around the entire part right here, and then you guys could add any color of pretty ribbons, or you could add jewels to it, or pearls. Really, the sky is the limit on this project, but I just thought it would be a fun idea to share with you guys, and it would also make a really pretty gift. I mean, imagine how pretty it would be to get somebody their favorite Bath and Body Works scent, and if they're really a glam girl, to really razzle dazzle it up for them. You could even add like a little knob on top of this or something. I mean, I don't know, maybe not a knob, but like just some kind of pretty jewel on the top of this. I'm also blinging out my lid. Now my lid I can reuse. So once you have that one blinged out, you can just always change it out. And so I just thought that this would be so pretty and glamorous for my bathroom. I'm going to make one for my beauty table as well. I do love the Bath and Body Works scents and packaging. I really think it's actually really pretty, but sometimes I will find a fragrance that I love, and I feel like the outside packaging just doesn't quite go with my bathroom scheme. So I just thought this would be a fun idea and hopefully inspire you guys to do something glamorous and fabulous in your own space, or for somebody that you love that's all, kind of glam. And I am topping the top of this with a little bit of Mod Podge. And again, I'm using the waterproof Mod Podge. That way, if I need to wipe it off or it gets wet or something, it's not going to damage my work here. So you can just take a sponge brush and gently dab it on, and then add your glitter. And again, this is silver glitter. It's really fine glitter, and it's from Walmart, and it's super cheap. So you guys are on a budget there, and you don't have to spend much to get a lot of bang for your buck with this pretty glitter, and it looks so sparkling. I feel like in the light it's like, ooh, it's so pretty. So I added a generous layer, and then you can also go back in and Mod Podge, add another layer of Mod Podge and glitter if you want to. Or I've also seen people mix their Mod Podge and glitter together. I've yet to try that, but I may try that next time. So, but I did add another layer and then another layer of Mod Podge to seal it off, and that way it's not like dripping everywhere. And then here is how it turned out. So fun and fabulous, and look at all that beautiful glittering sparkle. You guys, I love glitter, so this was definitely right up my alley. You don't have to use the glitter though, but that's just something I thought that would make it super cute and fun and fabulous. So as always, I ask that you guys comment down below, what was your favorite DIY in this video? Which one will you be recreating, or which one did you just think was really cute and you're like, wow, I think I might want to try that. And I want to thank you guys so much for being here. I also have to share with you guys, I have a redbud tree in my front yard that is blooming right now. Here is how it looks. It is so beautiful. So right in the early spring, or mid-spring, it will bloom these beautiful pink, purple flowers, and then it does eventually turn to just green blooms. But I just had to share with you guys, it's like heaven when it happens. And there's Benji Bear. He has to be a part of everything. Dad's got him out for a little walk and a little bit of playtime. So thank you guys again for being here, and I'm also going to share with you guys my quick little thrift store outfit of the day.
And just for kicks, here is my thrift store outfit of the day. I have this really cute kind of little flowy top. It goes down low, but it has this little side slit, so you could wear it like with a little skirt or leggings. And I also found this pretty little necklace at the thrift store. I finally took the time to cut and color my hair. I need to style it. I've been crafting away today, but there you guys have it.
For the first Dollar Tree DIY, I want to share with you all how to transform one of those Dollar Tree plastic watering cans with a coat of paint and a pretty image. So I'm going to start out with this satin Rust-Oleum white paint, and I'm actually going to just give it one light coating of this paint. I didn't have a whole lot left in that can, so I'm going to end up chalk painting a little bit more on top of it. The next thing I did was print out this beautiful rose image from graphicsfairy.com. They have some really beautiful images, and they're totally free. The next thing I wanted to do was spray a bit of hairspray on top of my image and set that aside. Now I'm going to set about making this watering can look really vintage. So I'm starting out by layering on some of my homemade chalk paint, which is just a cup of regular paint mixed with half a cup of baking soda, and then you can let that dry. Now I want this to look really kind of vintage chic, like French country, and so I'm going in with this antique Waverly wax, and I'm giving it a light wax kind of dusting just with this paper towel. And I did get a little bit of a rim of the inside, that way you couldn't see the newness on the inside. Now I'm taking my brush and I'm lightly brushing over where I had added that wax. I just want it to be a little bit smoother. And then I'm going in with a little bit more wax, and now this beautiful gold Arteza paint. And I do love this paint if you're going for kind of that just rimmed in edge gold look, like that vintage French, country look. I want it to be a little bit kind of, high-end looking with the touches of gold. So I am using this old makeup brush to apply the gold paint. I love using old makeup brushes, repurposing and reusing as always. Once I had several layers of paint down, now I'm going in with some Mod Podge, and I'm going to Mod Podge the back of my image as well as on top of the little container, just a little light layer, and then I'm going to lay that down on the container. And I will tell you that the light dusting of hairspray over my original image really was a game changer. It truly made my image not bleed, and it went on so well. So that's just a little hack if you're trying to put a printed image on onto any kind of item. And if you all don't have a printer, you could always send an image to like a Walgreens or your local Walmart, wherever you may get something printed. And I just printed this on regular old copy paper, but I am loving this look. I really want to do a cottage summer garden style for many areas in my home, and now I'm going in with it just a little bit more gold paint. Again, as many layers as you can really get on something, and then just kind of gently wipe a bit of it away, and then I'll see how I feel about it, and then maybe add some more layers, and that's really going to give it that aged vintage feel. Now, last thing I did was I just popped some little roses that I had picked up at Michael's on clearance, and voila, I have this fabulous little blooming French country cottage watering can that only cost me $1. I already had the paint on hand and the pretty little image I printed out on my computer, but I think it's a fun way to jazz up an everyday item to make it beautiful and decorative on a budget. So for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I have to share with you all how to make a super adorable vintage scale using this little Dollar Tree storage container. And I have to give a shout out to my friend J Money DIY, who originally came up with this scale idea, and also my friend at Our Green Acres, who came up with the idea of how to rust something. So this is my take on this project, and I'm using a little doll table and then the end of this ribbon roll, and I'm just going to cut my little vintage scale piece. And so you can Google vintage scale front and you can print out that image. That's how I found mine. Now I'm just going to take my little doll table, and this is in the kids section at Dollar Tree, and I'm going to hot glue that to the top of my container. I did flip my container over, and then I'm going to hot glue the lid to the top of that, and that's going to be like my little scale part. And so I will tell you too, you may want to paint your items first. I didn't do that on this. It came out okay. So, but just a little note, now I'm going to use a Dollar Tree napkin ring, and then I'm going to take my little ribbon roll cardboard piece, and you guys could use a plastic plate or a jar lid, anything that's round and circular. This was just easy for me, and I just popped this on here. This is what I had on hand, so I'm using what I have. The next thing I want to do is take some of this satin Rust-Oleum. It's a granite spray paint, and I just spray painted it and let it sit out in the sun until it dried. And then now I'm just going in with a little bit of my Waverly wax paint, and I'm just kind of giving it a light dusting to make it look a little bit more vintage. You could also use brown paint, but pretty much really whatever you have on hand. Now for the next part of this DIY, I'm just using some Mod Podge, and I'm going to add a layer of Mod Podge, and then to rust it, I'm going to use some cinnamon. So this is such a cool technique on how to make something look old and rusty, and I know pretty much everybody has a little bit of cinnamon and hopefully some glue. So once you get that cinnamon on, you can just take a little sponge, and these are just Dollar Tree sponges, and then you can add another layer of Mod Podge over that, and that's going to give it this really neat rusting effect. And you can let that dry and do another layer if you want to, which later I kind of think maybe I needed to have done that, but I was pretty happy with the results. It is a little bit messy, so make sure you have a little paper towel or something underneath your crafting space. Now I'm taking the little printable that was the vintage scale face, and I'm just Mod Podging that on to the front of my little vintage scale. And you guys, this one came out so fun, and basically it was about $2 to create this. And if you've priced vintage scales, they're so much more expensive in the home decor stores, and we made this on such a tiny budget. And then I just popped some faux lemons onto this. I'm actually going to move this inside once Easter is over and do a huge lemon display and make it really cute and kind of cottage chic in my kitchen area. So anyway, I just had so much fun creating this, and I hope you guys are inspired to possibly create one of your own. Pick up one of those Dollar Tree storage containers with a little bit of paint, and with those cute little doll tables, you can really go to town. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I want to share with you all how to take these Dollar Tree candlesticks and glue them together to give pretty much any decor piece some height. So I found this fleur-de-lis, which I knew would be perfect for this French country video, at the local flea market. I picked it up for about $4.50, and I'm just taking these two Dollar Tree candlesticks and I'm hot gluing them together, and then I'm hot gluing the fleur-de-lis to the top of this. Now, if you want a permanent hold, you're going to want to add some E6000 glue or Gorilla Glue with the hot glue. The next thing I wanted to do was spray paint it this gray, and this is just a granite color. It was actually in Mr. Romantic's spray paint stash, so I robbed him of his spray paint, but I don't think he was using it. Anyway, I'm taking some of my homemade chalk paint, and I'm just using my little makeup brush, and I'm adding some dabs of chalk paint to kind of make it look like a little bit kind of washed out, like shabby chic, almost vintagey. And then I'm just taking a paper towel and I'm rubbing that white paint off, and that way it's not like super on there, but it just looks like it's like had this kind of ashy vintage effect. And really, you guys could add any colors that you wanted. You could paint this any color that you love or that's going to go in with your decor. Once I had the effect of the ashy kind of shabby chic look done, I wanted to take this pretty lace and just tie like kind of like a scrappy bow is what I call these. And so I'm just going to take, and to make my scrappy bow a little bit more scrappy, I'm going to take my scissors and run them up the center of it. That way it kind of dances and dangles down. And then I'm going to take the two little pieces that were scraps, and I'm just going to take another piece of ribbon and tie those all together. So you just kind of bunch it up in your hands, kind of scrunch it, and then tie it together, and then you can tie that onto the original little bundle of lace pieces. And that's going to kind of give it that really cute little shabby chic kind of French country look. And then you can add whatever baubles that you love. You guys know me, I love the totallydazzle.com gems or bling jewels. I chose this one because it kind of has like a cascading effect. I'll leave a link in the description box below. It's Natalie, and she's a small business, and she has the most beautiful jewels, and she's always running tons of sales and giveaways, which is super sweet of her. So go check her out. Again, I'll leave the link in the description box below for you guys. So here it is, popped into my French country vintage chic little area here. And I cannot wait to share with you guys how I'm going to decorate my home for summer in this kind of French country vintage vibe feel. I'm so excited for it. I'm absolutely loving my Easter decor right now as well, but I really want to make it feel like it's like this cottage garden inside my home. So I'm really excited to share that with you guys. And I'm also really excited to start buying plants. I love plants during the summer. So I'm definitely going to be sharing with you guys some plant videos as well. So for the next DIY, I wanted to take this really cool little French country kind of bumblebee image, and I found this on graphicsfairy.com as well. I'm just going to cut it out. I had actually printed it out on my computer, and my computer was actually, or my printer was running out of ink, so I did have to kind of cut the bottom part off, but sometimes you just have to make do, right guys? So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to spray paint the image. That way when I Mod Podge it onto whatever I'm using, which I'm going to use this little white book. It's just a thrift store book, and it had seen better days, so I chalk painted it white, let that dry overnight, and now I'm going to add a layer of Mod Podge to my book to not only seal the chalk paint in, but also to give my image something to kind of grab onto. I'm also going to take some Mod Podge and Mod Podge the back of my image and then do one more layer over the front. And then I have this super cute little French country queen bee book. I did have another book from the thrift store that definitely had seen better days and needed some new life, and so I chalk painted that one as well. And now I'm taking this beautiful Victorian lady image, and again I'm doing the hairspray trick. I'm going to set that aside while it dries. I'm going to add a layer of Mod Podge to my book because again I want to seal my book, and then I'll just lay that vintage image down and add one more layer on top of that. So this is a really easy, fun craft. You just have to be a little bit patient with the layering of the paint and the Mod Podge, but other than that, you guys can really use any image that you love, and I really suggest you guys visiting graphicsfairy.com. They have amazing free images that you can just save to your computer and then print out on, this is just regular computer paper. And I do want to leave an album of some of these images on my Facebook page, so I'll just post the images that I used over there. So you guys pop over to my Facebook page. Don't forget to follow me over there. I am doing a ton of giveaways. This is how my beautiful Victorian lady book turned out. I think she adds so much style and pizzazz, and she looks so mysterious, like she's just a boss babe from back in the day. I don't know, I just love her. I love old vintage images. They just make my heart smile. And so I hope you guys are going to get creative and maybe find some fun images that you can add to some little books. I know everybody probably has an old book laying around that has seen better days, or that you would love to do a fun craft with. I like to take books that are a bit tattered and then just go ahead and paint them if it's something that I'm not going to use and I don't feel like it would be useful to anyone else. And then here's my Queen Bee vintage laundry company book. I'm not even for sure that should have been on a book. It'd be really cute like on a little laundry tin, but I just thought it'd be so cute on this book because books are super versatile in decor. You can lay them down or stand them up, and again I added that in to my little vintage scale area, and I was just so pleased with the results. Now for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take one of these flowers and garden tins. This is just from Dollar Tree, and the satin, it's Rust-Oleum, it's in the granite color, and I just spray painted that, a layer of that granite color. Again, I'm going for some French country DIYs here, so I wanted to use some grays and then some whites. You can also use a lot of creams in the French country decor as well. So I'm just dry brushing a layer of chalk paint, and this is my little homemade chalk paint that I made the other day. I shared a video with you guys about that. It's just a regular cup of 1 cup of paint and then half a cup of baking soda mixed well. It is grainy, but it's great for crafts. So now I'm just taking this Waverly antique wax, and I'm just going to add a layer of the wax over where I had chalk painted. I'm also going to kind of rub some of the chalk paint off intentionally because I do want this to look really aged. I am going for like a really kind of French country look with this. You guys could also just use brown paint and add a layer that way as well. And then the next thing I wanted to do was kind of just buff it out with my brush. Again, this is dry brush. That means I haven't added more paint. I'm just kind of using the paint that was already in there. Now I'm taking this beautiful vintage image, again from graphicsfairy.com, but I'll post an album of these images on Facebook for you guys. And that way you guys can save them to your computer and print them out on your printer. And I am just using regular printer paper. Now I'm going in with a bit of gold paint, and this is the gold paint from Arteza. I feel like it's the best, even though it's a little bit pricey. It's about $4 per bottle, but it just really makes it look like it's gold. And so I'm just going to trim out her picture and then Mod Podge that to the front of this. It's super easy, and I did hairspray over this image, that way the image wouldn't bleed while I was Mod Podging it. But I thought this looked so beautiful, and this is something that I can use in my little beauty space. or I can pop flowers into. There's so many uses for little vintage tins, and right now the vintage tins are out at Dollar Tree, you guys, in all different sizes. This is the best time to find them, and I suggest to buy a couple of them because I always use them all season long. So just a little tip from me to you when you're out doing your Dollar Tree shopping. And here is how she turned out. So fun and fabulous. Now I did pop some of the little Dollar Tree lavender in there. I just took the little ends of the stems and kind of bent them down. I didn't use any foam or anything for this. I just popped them directly in there, and I thought that that would work just fine. That way there's nothing hot glued to the inside of this, and if I want to use this in a different area or repurpose it, I can definitely do that. But I am loving this French country look. Comment and let me know how you guys are feeling about this. I know a lot of you all really love when I do like a shabby chic French country Victorian look, and these are a lot of neutrals, so I feel like that they'll be very versatile, really pretty much with any decor, and it's such a nice way to add a romantic touch to your home. Now for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I want to share with you all how to make some really glamorous bling napkin holders. I'm just taking Dollar Tree napkin rings and this little bling wrap. This is also from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to hot glue it to my napkin ring, and I'm going to ring it all the way around, add another dab in between, and then add a dab at the end. And look how sparkling and beautiful this is. So this would be just a quick and easy little craft to do. Now you all know me, I have to go a little bit extra with my glamorous bling jewels, and so I selected this really pretty butterfly. And again, I love getting my jewels from totallydazzle.com. I'm gonna leave a link for you guys down below, but I love supporting Natalie. She's a small business and she has amazing bling jewels. You can get a whole pack of them, and the jewels are like $1.50 each, which, you guys, that is an amazing deal. I crafted with jewels and jewelry for years, and trust me, that's a great deal. Now the next DIY I want to share with you guys is how to take some of those golden Easter eggs and add just a simple little Victorian touch to it by wrapping some lace around it and just hot gluing that as you wrap. Be careful, it is hard to use lace when you're hot gluing. You have to just be really careful and patient and let it dry, but I did just wrap that around my little egg, and so it gave it kind of like a Victorian kind of a vibe here. And again, I'm going in with one of my jewels from totallydazzle.com and just hot gluing that to my egg, and then I'm going to pop the egg on top of my little napkin holder, so it's kind of like a little egg holder. But I think that's just a fun way to glamorize some eggs, and especially if you're decorating in kind of a glamorous style. And so you guys could leave these out even past Easter, I feel, because they're gold and they have those really beautiful kind of French country neutral tones, and you could do so many things with them. You could add bows or roses or just whatever. You have like little miniature things in your craft stash, but I thought it looked really pretty popped into this little spring setting. Now for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I want to share with you all the simplest DIY ever, and that is just taking some of these vintage images. And again, I printed these from graphicsfairy.com, and I had chalk painted these frames. These are also from Dollar Tree. I chalk painted them in the last video, and I just used a layer of white chalk paint, gold, and then a little bit of that wax, and they come out super beautiful. Really, you can paint your Dollar Tree frames in any color that you love, and then you can just take an image and print it out. And again, I'm going to leave an album of images on my Facebook page for you guys. I'll post that sometime today, and I'm just going to pop that into my other frame. And if you guys have looked at like Victorian pictures or vintage vintage pictures. They're so expensive, so I just thought that this would be a fun way to try this out and see if I like having these ladies hanging around in my little studio space here. I think they're really adorable and just they're so vintage and chic, and for only $1 each. And then you guys also could just send these to a Walmart printer or a Walgreens printer. They're super inexpensive to do that way if you don't have a printer at home. But this is just a fun way to kind of jazz up an area and just make it pretty and romantic on a budget. Now for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I want to share with you all how to take some of those Dollar Tree terracotta pots and jazz them up or give them a little bit of a French country flair. So again, I'm using some of my homemade chalk paint, and I'm just going to chalk paint these little terracotta pots, and they're so nice. They absorb paint so well. I only needed to really use one coat with these, and then I wanted to make them feel and appear a little bit more vintage, and so I'm taking some of my Waverly Antique Wax and just a paper towel, and I'm just going to kind of like distress them and then add a little bit of white paint on top of that, especially if you get too much of the antique wax on top of that. So anyway, I'm going to do the other terracotta pot to match the first one. I always like to kind of rim on the inside because I may want to use them, you know, with flowers or something that you could kind of see down in the pot. So that's just a little tip too. And then I'm going to take these beautiful French country images and I'm just going to cut them out. And again, I'll leave an album on my Facebook page with some of these really pretty images. And I'm just going to take and cut both of them out. And you don't have to completely cut all the way around like the scrolly design because it's a little bit intricate, although you could. But I also used a little light layer of hairspray on top of the images, and that way the image doesn't bleed when I'm doing the Mod Podge part. So now I'm going to take my Mod Podge and I'm going to Mod Podge on the back of my image, and then I'm going to lay that down on the terracotta pot. Now this image was a little bit larger than my pot, or it was the same size, but you know, then there's that little bump. So you have to get really aggressive with your Mod Podging. I guess that's what you would say. But again, I'm just taking that generous layer of Mod Podge and laying that down. Now it did make it bubble just a little bit, but that's fine with me because it's supposed to be kind of French country and fun and, you know, just vintagey. So I don't think it has to be completely perfect, although you could resize your image to make it smaller and fit underneath the lip of the terracotta pot if you wanted to. I just printed it as is. I'm a little bit impatient, and plus this gave me more images on my printed piece of paper. So I'm going to do the other one in the exact same fashion, and then I have two fabulous little boutique gorgeous pots on a budget. And the next thing I wanted to do was just add a little bit of foam inside the pot. I didn't even hot glue the foam. I was just able to like cut it and pop it down in there, and then add these pretty little lilac branches or lavender. I think these actually might have been my lavender. Anyway, I'm just popping these pretty little spring flowers into here. Again, these are from Dollar Tree, And then voila, I have this fabulous little French country mini pot on a budget, you guys. Like really, these would be at least $6 to $10 at your home decor store. And then I'm adding in some pretty little moss. Again, you can buy a bag of moss at Dollar Tree. And I did share with you guys that topiary that's back behind these in one of my last videos. So I hope you guys are inspired to do some spring dreaming and some pretty little planters. I really do a lot of fake florals inside right before the season starts because I'm patiently waiting for some of those really pretty flowers to be set out, and even the herbs. I even bought real lavender last year and had that growing outside in my front yard. So I'm really excited for the plant season. I don't know if you guys can tell, but we are going to be doing some real plants coming up very soon once my area gets past the kind of freeze point. We've even had snow in April before, although we have really nice weather now. So I'm always a little bit hesitant to set anything out too early. Comment down below and let me know how you guys are doing with your weather. So for the next DIY, I wanted to share with you guys how to repurpose a box. And this was actually a box that my coffee pods had came in from Amazon. It was a white box already. And so I just knew the minute I saw it, I was going to save it and make a pretty little just decor piece. And so again, I'm using one of these little Victorian ladies. This came off of graphicsfairy.com, and you could always just use a regular little gift box. And now I'm going to take some of those little Dollar Tree doilies, and I had these left over from Valentine's Day, so I thought that they would just be perfect. And I wanted to just kind of add like almost like a layer of doilies to kind of give it like a pretty romantic kind of vintage feel. And so I'm just taking some Mod Podge and Mod Podging these on. Oh, and don't forget to spray paint the front of your image so it doesn't bleed. So I'm just now going to add in one of those little French country labels. Again, graphicsfairy.com. You guys, I am loving their site right now, just to change things around and just make things look really custom. And also, I wanted to throw in a secret question for you guys on this video. So I am hosting a Cricut giveaway, which I did a huge Cricut video on my last video. If you guys want to learn how to use a Cricut, I have a couple little tips. I'm definitely not a pro. I'm more of a beginner, but just some of the things that I learned. So you guys can pop back on my last video. But I'm going to be hosting a couple of secret questions in the next couple of videos and then giving away that Cricut next Saturday. Always look in my description box for all of the details for my giveaways. But anyway, here is my secret question. If you all could live in any time period, what would it be? Or what time period fascinates you, I guess? You know, I love the Victorian era. I don't think I would actually want to live back then, but I'm somewhat fascinated by that era. I really love the Victorian, like just all the fancy ways they had about their decor and how they dressed. Again, I don't think that I would want to live in that time period, but I'm always fascinated by it. So drop a comment down below. It'll give you guys another chance to enter the giveaway. What time period fascinates you the most? That if you could go back and maybe just visit that time period, because I do love all the modern conveniences, but I would love to go back and visit that time period, I guess. So drop a comment down below and let me know. I'm also adding in some pretty little vintage kind of looking ribbon, and this little small trim is from Dollar Tree, and I had added some pretty laces to the front of the box, and then I just rimmed the box with some really beautiful rose fabric. It's ribbon. I lined that. I just hot glued that all on there. I'm adding a pretty bow, but the roses ribbon came from Michael's. Just wanted to give you guys a little bit of that. And then I'm just adding a pretty little bow, tying a shoelace bow, and then adding in this pretty bling jewel. So as always, I ask that you guys comment and let me know what was your favorite DIY in this video, and which one will you be recreating. I love to hear what you all are inspired to create, and I am just so enjoying everybody's posts on my Facebook page. If you guys have not joined my Facebook group page, pop over there. We have such a lovely community.
So thank you all so much for joining me on another fun and fabulous crafty decor adventure. It is a true blessing and honor to have you all here. I hope you guys answer that secret question so you guys can be entered into my giveaway. You guys, I love to spoil you, and I love to share with y'all how you can have a boutique, gorgeous home on a budget. A huge thank you to my creative director, BINGE. He is my little buddy and my trusty assistant. Hey, listen, if you guys are new, welcome. I'm Olivia with Olivia's Romantic Home. I'm a DIY crafty mama. I just love to share with you guys so many home decor DIY projects you guys can make on a budget. You can have a fabulous, gorgeous home without breaking the bank. I would invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's totally free. Punch that bell. It will update you every time I post a new video. I post several DIY videos a week on YouTube and several videos a day on Facebook. You guys, I love to craft and decorate and keep you guys inspired. So definitely join me on my Facebook page. I also have a little group page if you guys want to join me over there. It's free, totally fun and fabulous. It's just a crafty decor community, and there's so many talented individuals over there sharing their home decor and DIY projects. So thank you guys to everybody that's over there that's sharing. I see all of your posts. I love what I see. You guys inspire me every day. So anyway, I also have an Instagram page where I share with you guys a good morning cup of coffee on my Instagram story and a little prayer card. And the prayer cards are from Dollar Tree. Check in your checkout section is where I found mine, and they were down at the bottom, so you guys maybe have to even hunt for them. So anyway, I love y'all to the moon and back. I'm hugging all of your hearts so tight. I'm wishing you a gorgeous, fabulous, blessed day. Keep up the good work crafting and decorating. I can't wait for this new season of crafty decor adventures, and I can't wait for our next video. And until then, remember, be kind to yourselves and be kind to one another, and we'll talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.
Ooh, ooh.